Right. Hello and welcome back to Midweek Gaming. It's once again Wednesday, and this week we've got a good show planned for you with some good topics. If you want to get a cool graphic or some design work done from the graphic goal, please go to www.xboxgamingpics.com, and if you like a great independent gaming website, please check out www.bg4ghub.com. This week we have a special guest, the indie gamer. He has been very in demand recently, having loads and loads of podcasts requests this week, and last week, and we are lucky enough to have him on tonight. How are you doing, Indy?
I am doing very well, my friend. Thank you very much for having me on. Yeah, lots going on, lots of indie goodness. So yeah, was excited to come on yours. It's a pleasure to get an invite from you, my friend. Always a great time. It's been a little while since I came on last time, so I think it may be. Yeah. I don't know who was on the lineup when I last came on. I don't think Animated was on. Was he, or was he maybe back then? No, cool, nice. Yeah, so you've evolved quite a bit from then. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to chatting with everyone today and getting into that indie goodness. And thanks for having me on, my friend.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. It'll be good. It will. Live from a bee's nest, Mr. Tushi. How you doing?
How you doing? Thanks for having me on again. I'm glad to be here again, and I've also caught the bees up in this corner here. I thought I'd match the. I don't know enough about bees or wasps, but there's a picture of buzzy things in the background. That's about it. I know they're wrong, but it'll do.
Yeah, it was actually a joke for the indie gamer because he kept mentioning the wasps in his.
Yeah, I'm loving it. It's really good. He's gone full blown for the wasp's nest this time. I'm loving it. How's that PC going though, my friend? Also, I've just stolen a question.
No, you're cool. You're fine, mate.
Sorry. He's loving the PC life. Oh, yeah. Nice. Very good.
Well, you can hear his fan, can't you?
I was wondering if that was me actually. Is that your fan?
No, it's cool. Tushi's fan. He's got a fan under his laptop. Yes.
Well, the kind of slight hiss I can hear. Yeah, that is it. Yeah, I think
it is.
It is. Okay, cool. That's just so I know it's not me. That's all good.
Can you still hear it now?
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know if there's something you can do about that.
Yeah, it's probably still in gaming mode. That's why.
So as Indy would say, if you had a PC, you could have your PC on the floor. You were near it.
I have to say, I have my PC up on the desk as well.
Okay.
But yeah, only because I can't get it on the floor at the moment.
Fair enough.
Space-wise. But yeah, the floor is good for sound-wise, but as long as you got the mic so it's not right next to it, I guess.
Exactly.
That's a lot better.
That was a lot better, yeah. Sometimes that's condenser mic situation as well. Like condensers pick up the finest details, so it might be because of that.
What I've done, because it's three profiles on there. You've got the office game mode, then you've got the 5.1 gigahertz turbo mode, and it was on the game mode when I was playing on it earlier. So it's back in office mode now.
Good stuff.
Yeah, good to hear, Mr. Tushi. Gaming, I mean.
PC Master Race Tushi.
His next goal is to buy one. To get a PC now.
It's like a few people have mentioned, I bought a PC, and the only things I've been playing is bloody Roller Coaster Tycoon, bloody Command and Conquer, all the old stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, exactly.
Yes. Roller Coaster
Oh,
Tycoon. I used to play that many years ago, back when you could have discs on PC.
Yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Euro Truck Simulator. I've been playing that one. I'm loving it at the moment.
That's good. Good to hear. We now have a PC Master Race panel member. Saying that, but Cerebral Paul is as well. Cerebral Paul will be here, Infinite. Don't worry. He's a little bit late today. So you've been playing any Xbox games? Or you just been playing on the PC, Mr. Tushi?
To be honest, since I've had the PC, I've only turned my Xbox on 4 times, and that's for the community game nights. But
you lot are forcing him to play that console. Come on.
no, I haven't been playing much on the PC. This week I've gone through a stage where I've been watching loads of films. Like the other day on Saturday, I watched. It was my Xbox weekend, so I had like the whole day on my own for the two days, and the whole day I think I watched about 9 films in the day.
Really?
Random.
Wow.
I don't know. I think I go for stages. I think. I don't know.
That was a Lord of the Rings series, was it?
No, it was like I watched like Nightmare on Elm Street. I watched RoboCop. Loads of weird films.
So it's a full of 80s. It's an 80s film selection, effectively. Then you went
Very
classic
nice.
horrors.
I watched Greta, that new horror one on Netflix. That's good.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You're on about that girl?
No, not that fucking crazy. This is about someone's got.
What are
a
you on
stalker.
about?
No. There's loads.
It's a horror film.
Okay.
I watched like 2 or 3 days of films. That's all. I've been enjoying them.
It's good to hear. That is. Now on to Animated Evil. How are you doing? And well done on your first production into the video, into making
Very good.
making videos.
Yes.
Really good.
You've got to give these things a go, haven't you? It's been in the works for. I've been trying to do it for a little while now. So I'm doing really good, sir. All on the up and up. Thank you for having me. It's great to actually podcast with the Indie Gamer at last. We've had
Thank
many
you.
interactions, haven't we, sir? But yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
we've never been on the same show, so yeah, it's
Pleasure.
pleasure's all mine, sir. Honestly. But when it comes to games, so I now have the Series S rather than the old VCR. I managed to get hold of a
Nice.
Series S at last.
Got any
Awesome.
thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's an absolute beast for the size of the thing. It's tiny.
More storage.
So yeah, it hooked up to like a 5 terabyte storage.
Oh,
So
right.
we're
You're
all
sorted
right.
then.
So I only need to put on the internal SSD, the S and X games, and then only when I'm
Yeah.
playing them. So my SSD's pretty good. So what have I been playing? Obviously Empire of Sin. Did a little video on that. Check it out if you haven't. But I've gone back. I was watching. What was I watching the other day? Has anybody seen Carnival Row?
No.
Yes.
On Amazon.
Yep.
So I watched a couple of episodes of that, and I thought this world is brilliant, but it reminded me of the world in Dishonored. So over the last couple of days, I've started up Dishonored Definitive Edition, and I'm playing it in 60 frames with FPS boost. So that's what I've been playing.
So you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's good.
Sounds good. I'm gonna have to try that one. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this 4K TV. 'Cause mine's gonna be blown apparently.
Yeah.
You won't
I can't.
want to go back to 1080
Yeah.
after.
I can't
You're gonna
wait.
go from
That's
you're
your
gonna go
lucky
from
boy.
720 to 4K.
Thanks again, Looper. Can't wait.
Yeah. Well, legend Looper is.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The Series X is going upstairs, and so's the 4K
So-
TV mounted on the wall, and that's where it's going to be now.
And
So the
is
Xbox
this.
One's going to be downstairs.
Just make sure you
Ah.
mount it correctly. You don't want an accident.
Don't worry, it will be. I'm very precise about stuff like that.
You don't want a
Yeah,
Final Destination film situation where it's just like
Yeah.
No,
one thing onto the next.
I always make sure it's just well secured.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
So,
secure that bad boy.
removable sanity.
Thank you very much
Are
for
you-
having me on again.
How's the summer house? Are you warm or you not?
It's warm today, so okay. Yeah, I'm not. My little heater's here, so but it's actually quite warm, so I don't need it at the moment. So, yeah, my summer house is doing me well. My little shed, as effectively as what it is.
Very good.
It is.
wish I had a
Yeah,
shed.
it is.
Any spiders? Is it like proper like carpeted and stuff, or is it like actual shed with tools and stuff?
No, I've actually got. You're close. It's a halfway, so I've got some tools in it. I've actually got a tumble dryer in it as well.
Okay, nice.
But then I've got some proper seating in it with nice comfy cushions as well. So it's a bit of a blend at the moment. We're trying. We've got one side's like the what you classify as the working side, another side's the more relaxing side, sort of thing. But
Very nice.
it is a shed. It is a fair shed with windows, effectively. Let's face it.
Windows too. You're lucky. That's living the life, I think.
Apart from the fact his neighbours see him walk in there every night, talk to himself in his shed and wonder,
Yeah.
walks out later.
Yeah, what the hell is going on?
What's he doing?
What do the
Yeah.
children
I
of the
do.
neighbourhood think of you?
Well, I'm actually okay. I'm surrounded by everyone. Everyone in my street is over 80. We're the youngest family, so everybody.
Really? Okay.
Both-
Yeah,
Interesting.
I'm actually. It's one of the good things that I kind of moved into this street was one full of what we classify as curtain twitchers. And for those who don't know what that is, these are effectively older generation who pretty much just look at their windows 24/7 and keep an eye on the actual road itself. So, yeah, no, I think I am one of two young families in this actual street. So,
pretty
we
cool.
cause
Oh,
noise, we
but-
cause the
but the-
problems.
I bet they weren't happy when you moved in. Oh, look at them
Oh,
young delinquents.
Well, no, I moved in, and then a family came later. But ironically, they've actually been a lot more happier because they said they liked the sound of children laughing. Apparently,
Well, that's that's what my neighbours say. Because
they prefer
be-
prefer it or something. Yeah.
well, before there was a bloke, there's a chap that lived in our house, and they said it was like living next door to an empty house because you could never hear no. But they said like it's good to hear the kids and everything. And don't worry about making any noise around. We like it, Which we've got
Yeah,
good
it's
neighbours
exactly
down
what
there.
we're getting. Yeah, we've got exactly
Yeah.
the same thing. They said it's like reminiscent of their grandkids. So, in a way, I think because of lockdown, it's helped a few of the neighbours because they see the kids screaming, shouting, messing around, and it kind of, they have a little chat with them as well over the fence. So, I suppose it's helped, as you said, rather than just like a young couple just doing nothing, being very quiet.
Sound better than my
But,
neighbours. Do you know stuff on my street? They're really weird because we've got like street parking. The problem is if you go in your car, some of them watch what time I leave the house at night.
Really?
to
What?
miss it. And they watch and they move
Yeah.
the car up the street. You can see them sitting in the car waiting for you to go out at night.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad.
That's when parking has a premium, and
Yeah, exactly,
you want
yeah.
that space. Trust me,
Yeah.
I've seen those spaces, and everyone is eagle-eyed on you, Tushi. They'll be like, there's about 6 people all sitting in their car with their lights off, waiting for you to go, and then it's like the closest rush to park in your spot because I can guarantee he's not going to be back till next day. Go, go, go.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
At least you can park, because I've been hearing recently in the UK, a lot of the councils and the government are restricting parking and putting barriers up and stopping people parking outside their own house. It's called. It's to do with to trying to save the environment. That this whole streets where they've locked it off and put barriers up, so you can't park in your own street. And there's fines. They've given out over 200,000 fines so far. Because people I've been snapping the the bolts that lock them in, snapping them, and just driving the car through. But they're all cameraed,
I would say those are on estates where they were originally designated as parking free. So you have some estates.
It's happening in Leicester, in old areas as well.
No, well, in old areas, if you've got parking outside your house, they can't actually stop you from doing that.
Well, they have in certain areas, so
because it's actually illegal. But they can do it where people are parking on the road where there's no parking in front of your house. There are some areas that they try and do that because it's supposed to be designated as a car-free zone, effectively. So I have heard of aspects of that, but that's the joy of the UK at the moment.
Exactly.
Anyway, we're talking about games.
It's Midweek Gaming.
Always talk about the car parking situation of the UK.
Yeah.
Well. There's been so many simulators announced recently. We're just discussing the car park simulator.
That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah.
There probably is one of them. There is everything else. There is car mechanic and there.
There is.
Exactly. I found a porn tycoon on the PC.
Oh wow!
Oh, I can believe you found that. I can. Easily.
Oh yeah. Just stumbled across it,
I found. I'm sure it was. I found the Bumblebee simulator on the Xbox store earlier today.
There is actually one of them. Yeah.
Oh, I think I know the one you mean.
Tushi's downloading it as we speak.
Bumblebee. I'm sure Zemi Games reviewed that a while back.
Yeah, that's the one I thought I was. Yeah, Zemi did review a B game. I think that might be the one actually.
Maybe.
That was ages ago.
It was. Yeah, but I'll be honest. I don't think it's going to come. It's been that long now. I don't think it will come to Game Pass.
Hopefully.
But have you played any games removable, or have you been reviewing games? Because you've been really busy on that front.
I have been doing work has been hell at the moment, so I have been restricted in terms of what I can play. I have actually been playing Starbase Startopia, which I reviewed recently. That's actually a really good little management game, and I have just got another review to start this week. So there's a couple of things on there. But I've also been trying to catch up with also the indie games streams as well, and catching up with what everyone's doing and seeing poor old Indy, sitting in a 4-hour stream of people chatting.
Yeah, all the other streams
that was almost a medical laugh there.
I managed to make it all the way to the end, so I'm proud of that.
At the end, he was like, I'm in an hour. Shall we shut it off?
Very impressive.
Shall we shut it off?
Yeah,
and then he made it to the end.
I did feel bad for the other guys. That was mainly the reason, to be honest. And I was feeling a bit tired, but yeah, no, like we get into, I imagine, is the games were great and they kept me going, but it was definitely the bad pacing. But we'll get into that, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm it's a shame, Oh no, I'll let you. I won't go into it now. I'll pause myself. Hold back. Hold the restraints.
Right, I'm going to do a few shout outs because I didn't shout anyone out last week. I forgot. So shouts to Caitlin. Shout out to Assassin Looper, Judzilla, good to see you. I'll keep in normal tradition. Shout out to Indie Gamer, he's in the chat as well. Welcome Pong Soul, good to see you. Let's go with this. The Lighty Lad, thanks for stopping by. Goat Force Gaming, really good to see you. Cali Rax, how you doing? Free Bit. Thanks for stopping by. Who else we got? Mr. Tushi Gaming.
Mama Rocks.
Dave Barton. Mama Rocks. Who else? Infinite. Back from the Dead.
Games HD.
I said that free bit.
You say Masuko?
Masuko, thanks for stopping by, mate. Animated Evil, cheers for stopping by and chat.
Welcome.
The subs as well.
I haven't posted
He's always
yet, have
I? Right at the top.
So yeah, thanks for coming by, everyone. So last week there was a couple of shows. There was a Future Game show hosted by Games Radar, and there was ID Xbox hosted by Twitch. And there was a great with the idea Xbox, the premium show to watch would keep your entertainment really was on the Indie Games channel. that was the better option for watching
You
it.
have to say that though. But yeah, I'll take that. Thank you.
So obviously, I watched a Future Game show. I was live because
Yeah.
on your show, I was struggling because I was trying to listen to it in my earbud, control watching it and keeping up with you guys chatting, and somehow I got in front of the stream. You kept going, "Oh, spoilers, spoilers." You kept going.
That
Also
that actually
happened in
happened the next day as well.
It did.
I don't know why that happens exactly, but sometimes people are at different places on the stream. I don't know why. Really, there must be some technical reason for that, and maybe because I'm the host. I don't know whether that means that the host gets like 3 seconds but delayed because of certain reasons. I don't know, but yeah, you were behind. You were ahead. Sorry, and the same with Mike and Slow Mo. The next day they were ahead, and I think Scott was as well. I think I was the only one who was like behind by about 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, because it's like. When he announced the games that were going to Game Pass, he's like, "Oh, spoiler! Stop it!" You're like, "Come on!" He's like,
Yeah. Are we diving
Yeah.
into future games first, or what's the plan?
yeah, because I think
Sorry,
I was quite a fan of Future Game Show.
It was a
so
pleasure having you on, my friend. Just to say, it was good to have you. We had a nice time. I thought it was a good time
I
together.
tried,
Checking it out. 'Cause I know you enjoyed it last year, didn't you? You were
I
a
thought
fan of it from last year.
It was good. I thought it was better last year, but it was still good. It was still good this year. There was a lot of games in there. There was. Obviously, I haven't got a PlayStation or PC, but I'd love to play Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. That looks incredible. That does.
Definitely.
That trailer looks really good. That does. Because you know more than me. When this was initially announced back when. It was announced for all systems, weren't it? And then it got pulled back to say it was just on the PlayStation. Because I'm pretty sure
I don't remember it. I thought it was announced PlayStation 5, 4, and PC at first. I'm not. That's all I've ever known it as. But
I probably got it wrong then. But I would love to play that. I just don't have a console to play it. But you never know. It could be one of these, as you said on the show. It could be one of these deals where after a year or so, it just goes to all systems.
Yeah.
You know, it does happen a lot with indie games.
Yeah,
it does. It does.
Yep, certainly does. I mean, like, you know, maybe it's partly some. Everyone always goes straight to exclusive. You're holding it back or whatever, but it's not always down to that. It's sometimes down to the workload that the developer wants to take on at the time, like Art of Rally or something like that. That's a much smaller team, but. Well, the Kena team's very small as well, but like, you know, Art of Rally's now coming to Xbox, jumping the gun again, but you know, they don't want to take on too much at once. But and often if they do like to go from, say, their small like test run obviously on PC to see how well that does, and then maybe go to console later, sometimes even they'll get a team who will port the game for them so they can get the console port done, and they're like a specialist porting company or something, and that's what's happening with Art of Rally. They've actually been working with them for quite a while, and the same happened for the game Dark as well. I don't know if you know that game, but I think Removable Sanity does. I've talked about it quite a bit. It's kind of like Inside and stuff like that, but that game was they sort of got a porting team to sort of port it for them, but the original game that was released on PC was made by just like one guy and stuff like that. So, but then they, you know, for the porting must be quite a tricky process. So, because they do reach out to companies for that. So, yeah, that's just a little thing I thought I'd mention there.
Yeah, because I suppose that's not what people think about. Because on bloody Twitter and podcasts, all you think about is the word exclusive. And some people, as me and you've experienced in the past, have games that, you know, like games that are on will be on multiple platforms and have a history with Xbox will go to other systems. But then you get people saying, no, it's Xbox. Xbox exclusive. They've paid for it all, but they haven't. Like the Bloober team, you know. That will eventually, down the road, be on other systems, won't it? It's historically, that's how they work their games, isn't it?
That's true.
Was it the Blair Witch game done that too?
Yep.
Yeah, I think several of their games have done that. So they like to release across the board too. Yeah, so yeah, Blair Witch came to Game Pass on day one, so now it's like rolled out across. So yeah, there's they've got a good relationship. And there was something else that you actually dropped into my DM, which was about Bloober not wanting to team up and they wanting to keep their independence, which is pretty cool. I think I really like that.
I like that because I
Yeah,
don't
good on
think
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's good. It sounds like they've got enough money to. It even mentioned the fact that they had money to invest in other companies, so that means they've got
Yeah.
a lot of money. Hell of
It
a
means
lot
it's
of money.
probably been a good success, and obviously they've had a few games, but this last one's probably done good, which is great to hear. And you know, the potential for them still maintaining their independence whilst growing is the ultimate situation, obviously, for creative, you know, games and stuff.
That's good because you never know. At some stage, they could become financially the size of a studio like CDPR. Eventually, one day, you know, you don't know, do you? They start small,
No,
could be
yeah.
big one day, you know. But no, that's
Yeah,
good
I think
to
that's
hear.
the thing that I think they like being that relatively small team who really do focus on their creative freedom, because I think that was the thing they didn't want to lose. It said in that article they
It
definitely
did
didn't
say
want to lose that.
They heavily
Yeah.
emphasised that. It did.
Yeah, that was the thing.
But I
they
love
said.
seeing that
well-knit
article.
team. You don't want to lose that
Oh.
that good relationship you've got with your team. Where
Exactly,
maybe if you
yeah.
have in other outside forces, that can impact on that very creative team dynamic,
Exactly.
whether or not you like it or want it to be. So, yeah, I suspect it's very much as almost like retaining what I would say is almost like their friendships and close knitness between the team members themselves, as well as their visual and ideological aspects to themselves.
I love seeing it. I was like, all the people that told me Bloomberg was going to be acquired by Microsoft, they're not. Hear it? They're not. Yeah. No wonder
Yeah.
people told me Xbox are definitely going to buy them. It's almost guaranteed. They're into talks. It's already been signed and. I no wonder people told me that. Signed and
Yeah.
sealed. I was like, no,
That's
it
the
hasn't.
thing.
You know.
I guess you can slightly forgive them, but then they don't consider the other side. They consider Microsoft whether they would want them, if you see what I mean, and that would make
Yeah.
sense. But they don't consider maybe the other side of the coin, where it's, you know, the actual independent developer wanting to stay you know, independent and
Exactly.
and free from constraints like that. But yeah,
Because they reckon they were in talks with a lot of American companies, UK companies, and other companies, and their biggest fear was not having the freedom. Even when a company tells you you've got freedom, it still must be scary for these small studios, because in reality, they can, once you're acquired, they can tell you what to do, and you can lose your freedom as well, can't you? You don't have to stick
Yeah.
to it. Exactly.
it's
you know?
true. It's true. Yeah, like I read today actually that Ghost Runner, the IP's been bought by 505 Games, which is a little bit disappointed about. But there we go.
Really?
Might mean we'll get a new Ghost Runner game, a second one or something. But yeah, like All In Games still profiting from it though, apparently, in some way. So they're not signing it completely away. I think it's sold for 5 million or something like that. The Ghost Runner IP to 505, but All In Games are still involved somehow, I think. But yeah, I really like Ghost Runner. And it's a really cool game. It looks amazing, and you know, defies what a lot of people might consider as what an indie game would look like. Don't judge the final product by whether it's indie game or not. Judge how it was made, is what I always say. But yeah, it's a cool game.
It's true, because I do see people that write off indie games straight away. I don't know why people. I mean, I have got to play more indie games. I know that, but they are good. There's a lot of good indie games out there. A lot of people write them off because they're not got this multi-million-dollar budget. Like, a lot of them people just want open world, samey games every time, you know. But that's up to everyone. But I wish more people could give them a chance.
I think that comes from the history of them, if I'm being honest. With the history of indie games, that's what you got. I'm talking years and years ago. The indie space, although it had good gameplay, because there was no budget at all, you usually got a lot of crap. You used to a long time ago. Now,
yeah, you also
it's
got a lot of
changed now,
recycling of assets.
Yes.
Then
exactly.
that did stigmatise a lot of the indies, where it really shouldn't have done, but it did a lot of asset flipping, is what they call it, you know, or was heavily on Steam, and so it kind of soured a lot of the it shouldn't have done, but it did sour the overall genre slightly because of it, you know, and that was partly due to Steam effectively, you know, not doing thorough checks in some cases, you know, but also it was a time for when they could say, well, we can make some money, let's effectively asset flip, put as limited time in it and just whack it out and see if we can make some money.
Because they were rushed. People that launched the smaller titles that didn't have a publisher back in the day had to get it done quick because they had bills to pay.
Exactly.
Whereas now there's much more options out there that even the biggest studios can be indie because they're an independent studio. That's the difference, I think, these days.
Would you agree with that, Indy? What's being said?
Yeah, I mean, I think the tools is a lot what comes down to it as well. Like what the Unreal Engine 4 is a big factor of, how things look and things like that, and what sort of people can put together. I mean, there are things like Unreal Blueprints, which is a way of putting things together when you don't have to do all the coding from bare bones and stuff like that. I don't know tons and tons about it, but I know there are ways you can essentially bring assets together and stuff like that. But I mean, back in in the early days of indies, I mean, I don't like to think of it as a sort of like. I mean, you were sort of saying it was a bit of more of a worse time with you animated. Sorry, or when it was
not so much worse. I mean, the smaller games that come out back in the day were haphazard and rushed in the most part. You had the good ones that come out as well, but in the most part, you were flooded with rushed, haphazard, no good-looking games. It doesn't even matter how they look. I mean, some of the gameplay was you would question.
So which time are we looking here now? 2010 or something, or
probably earlier, when it was a little more in its infancy. Probably a few years before that.
Before Xbox brought out Xbox Live Arcade and stuff. You mean like before when it was Steam started it sort of thing.
Even the earlier ones in Xbox Arcade, some of them that come out, it was you looked at it, you think, really.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you only think back fondly. I do. I tend to anyway. You think back of Super Meat Boy, and all those sort of games, Explosion Man, all that stuff. Limbo, all the good stuff.
Sorry, Super Meat Boy, was that the one that was a documentary on years ago on it?
That's the one that was featured within the indie game, the movie. Yeah, that was heavily featured within that.
I've seen that. I have.
Yeah, that's the one I think I was harping on about it tons recently. I highly recommend checking out that movie, guys. It's super cool.
I might rewatch it. I watched it.
It's pretty damn amazing. It's inspirational. It's hard hitting. It's very honest. It's available on Amazon Prime as well. So if you wanted to check it out through Amazon Prime, it's so good though. Like you really see behind the scenes and like literally it's very emotional as well. It's very nicely done. But yeah, they follow Super Meat Boy. They follow Fez, the game Fez, and they also follow oh my god, I've gone blank for some reason. Where am I thinking? Who else do they follow in that? Oh, they follow a little bit of Braid as well, which is a really cool game. Jonathan Blow. So yeah, and he's made The Witness since that, and also The Witness as well. Who is also had Luis Antonio, who's making 12 Minutes now. He was part of the art team on The Witness, by the way. If you wanted to know a little bit of a nugget, but yeah, that film's really cool and. Yeah, it's very inspirational. I find it inspirational anyway, and to see where they come from, and team meat and all that stuff. They're really cool, interesting guys. It's very raw as well, that film. I like it for that. But yeah, Super Meat Boy is definitely one of the gems, because these ones I feel are like they've rose up and sort of became big amongst all the other bigger games as well. Like, I think they're like the breakout successes, if you see what I mean. Those kind of in that arcade period. Sorry. So yeah, that's I tend to not think back like. I mean, I guess that's maybe my thing, but I don't think back negatively apart. But there no doubt there's always games that aren't always hitting the mark. But and the tools are definitely better now for games to be able to create much more easily. So I get where you're coming from on that animated, if that's what you were thinking. But yeah, I tend to think back fondly in that sort of period and. Feel like it was kind of like a project. It was like projected it forward almost. It lifted up the indie scene and made it more like acceptable as well. Those games, those breakout games, and they made people think, hang on, these games might actually be worth checking out. These smaller games, and it went on from there. That's in my opinion anyway. If someone asks me when like indie games rose up, I would probably say like 2010 kind of thing. Yeah. That kind of time.
I have to agree, because it's a shame how they don't back then. They used to do programs like Summer of Arcade. They don't do anything like that anymore. Am I wrong? Yeah, how they used to used to release a load of games, and they used to advertise them as Summer of Arcade, and then most of them they were all indie, but they don't seem to do anything like that anymore. Or am I wrong? Or have I just not noticed them?
Just packaging, I guess. I mean, they've got Game Pass. They might be thinking of that as the way that it gets it forward. But they did do last year a little a sort of summer spotlight, I think they called it. That was. Do you remember that, guys? Summer spotlight. Yeah. That had like a bunch of games weekly that they were showing off, kind of thing. I think it tied in actually a little bit with the rewards as well, if I'm not mistaken.
You could download demos of some of the games, couldn't you?
Oh, and that as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the demo event that was around the same time actually. Yeah, so maybe that was essentially tied in. But yeah, the demo event was really good. That was around the E3 period, I think, wasn't it? Demo event, I do believe.
It was around Jeff Keighley's event, weren't it? Around the Xbox event. Yeah.
So that was pretty good. That's good to do that because, I mean, that's a thing that Steam do all the time, though, to be honest. So hopefully Xbox just take the hint. The big thing, I don't want to keep talking because I'm talking, I realise that I'm talking more than everyone else here. So, but just one thing I want to say about like Xbox is that I think they need to sort out their store. They need to get games listed as soon as they become like, known about, essentially. Because on Steam, you can wishlist the game way ahead of launch, 2 years ahead of launch. You can have wish-listed games that are coming out down the line. Xbox do not do that at all, which is a really bad idea in my opinion. They should have a wish-listing thing where you find out about a game, say for example, any game that's coming down the line. The Artful Escape's wish-listed on Steam for me. Loads of games are, but they don't have that at all until it's actually in the store released on Xbox for some stupid reason, and I just don't understand that. That's just one thing I wanted to say, because they really need to get that on there, and people can, it's a good way of developers knowing the demand, and also it's a good way of people looking out for the game, and then when it comes out. And also the other one is, if you don't want to buy it full price, wish list it, and then when it goes on sale, then you pick it up then, because you get a little notification. But anyway, yeah, that's another thing I just wanted to mention.
I do agree with you, because I noticed in a lot of trailers on future game shows and various like that, it does say at the end, wish list in Steam. They heavily emphasise it.
That's right. Yeah, they really do. It's a big thing on the PC and Steam. It's always like, please wish list, because it does help them rise up in the algorithm as well on Steam. Like if you get a lot of wish lists, then you'll get shown a little bit more, that kind of stuff. So you are definitely helping out developers by wish listing, guys. So even if you don't play on PC and you just want to track a game's progress, then maybe sign up to Steam and follow some games. And then even if you're not going to buy it on Steam, that's what I did before I was on PC.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. You got any thoughts on this, Mr. Tushi, since joining PC and Steam and all of that? Have you noticed any of this?
I haven't used any of the wish lists. I use the wish list on the Xbox for like reminders of games I want to buy later on when they come down in price. I haven't used them on PC yet. That's about it. I'm still quite new to it all, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a. Please tell me you have got an Epic Games account and you are getting them free games.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because even I am. I'm not capable of PC yet, but I'm doing it. I am through the web browser. I keep clicking on the free games to add it to my library.
Yeah, you won't believe how many bloody launches I've got already. It's crazy.
Nice. Have you checked out GOG or GOG? However you want to pronounce it? Yeah, nice. It's got some good retro stuff on there if you like that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's quite cheap on there as well, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some good deals, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy Steam as my preference, but yeah, I think Steam's really good. It's got some good community features as well. Steam, it's everything's on there pretty much, unless it's got an Epic exclusivity deal these days. That seems to be the way.
It does.
Which is what Kena has, by the way. It's going to be releasing into Epic, I do believe, not Steam straight away. But yeah. Epic's good. Nice, very nice, my friend. Yeah, a lot of people were slagging off Epic for so long, and still people do carry on about Epic. Because a lot of PC players are very much Steam Steam people, and they used to be, you know, all their game library being in Steam. So when Epic came along and said, "Oh, we're going to make some exclusives of your games and take them out of Steam," people got a little bit funny. Loads of people were down thumbing a lot of content on Epic Games. People still do it, sadly, but at the end of the day, it's competition and business. So, you know, and Epic are doing actually quite a nice job of supporting developers as well. But I won't go into all that. But
I'm impressed with Epic's prices.
Yes, they're very good.
It's like for example, GTA 5 is like £10 cheaper on Epic than it is on Steam. Quite a lot of games are a lot cheaper on Epic.
Oh, you missed it, mate. They gave it away for
I know,
free a while ago.
I missed that one.
You missed Inside Stubs on Epic.
I did, yes. And when I get a PC, I'll happily buy it.
Yeah.
Saying that,
so I just had to fight for Tushi back there.
Yeah.
I think I got Inside. I'm not sure.
Did you? It was over Christmas they had it on there, I think,
Oh,
Inside.
no.
No.
Telegonic, the Xbox do have a wish list, but it's quite crap, to be honest. It's not. And you forget you've got a wish list as well, to be honest, you know.
Yeah, the point is that they don't actually list the games until like it releases, and I don't think they. I think that's the case. I mean, I remember searching for so many games on there, and they're not like. Maybe they come up like 2 weeks before or something like that, which isn't good enough, obviously. As far as I'm aware, they pretty much.
I think they go to a coming soon section about a couple of weeks before the launch. I think.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
cheers, buddy.
Yeah, it's not long.
Yeah, it's just silly, really. Because, like, what do you want to do when you see a game on the Future Game Show? You want to look it up and maybe wishlist it. That's what instant reaction for me, anyway.
Well, that's a good feature because I presume a lot of people, after they watch the show, it's good. And over time, a lot of people, I know you probably won't, Indy, but a lot of people will forget about that game. And then when it comes out, they won't get it because they've forgotten about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is especially you know, pertinent to, like, because it's, you know, with indies, of course, you know what I mean, it's especially important for that because, you know, they can get lost. So, you know, maybe bigger games have got a lot of marketing going on, but with the indies, they're not going to always get remembered in a lot of other games, and, you know, the smaller amount of promotion that they are able to budget.
It's true. Have you got any inside info on this new Dead Labs game, Indy?
Inside info. You think too highly of me, I think. Which games were Undead Labs, did you say? Or
not on sorry, is it Play Dead, the ones that made Inside?
Oh, Play Dead, sorry. Yeah, Play Dead. No, we did cover it on the podcast when we had Lord Cognito on, actually, which was really cool because he's a big fan of the game.
I do remember that, but I didn't know if there's any more info dropped.
No more. No. They're very kind of the kind of studio who like to get their heads down and not really show too much. I feel like there are screenshots available.
Like Hollow Knight guys, then.
Yeah, exactly like them, actually. I'd very much liken them to them in the way they approach it, yeah. Although they have grown the team a bit more than, you know, Team Cherry for Hollow Knight. They're still a small team, Team Cherry, but Play Dead have grown a little bit, quite a bit, actually. And, yeah, I mean, the screenshots look amazing. It looks like it's going to be a sort of open world, more sci-fi, kind of in built in Unreal Engine 4 this time, so it's like quite a bit different to the tone of the, well, not the tone, I would say very similar to the tone of the last games, but, you know, the fact that it's sort of like a more 3D world this time, that makes it interesting already, I think.
It does, yeah.
It will change up.
So hopefully, I'm going to get that day one.
Nice.
Because just based off the studio and the Limbo and Inside, it's going to be a good game.
They are amazing studio, and I will buy instantly from them, definitely. They have divided up a little bit, like I said before, that they've gone separate ways. The two principals of the studio have divided up, and one has started another studio called Jump Ship, and they're making a game as well, which is going to be cool, so we get 2 games out of it. But yeah, Play Dead are amazing and very much cutting edge innovation, and, you know, really cool game design. Like Inside and Limbo, both so well made and, you know, unique and just brilliant games. I'm with you, my friend. We'll jump straight in.
yes. Well, welcome Ainsley. Thanks for stopping by, mate. Welcome Midway Monster. Got a few more come in. I missed them. I'll see you later, Infinite. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, no, it's all good in indie talk. Yeah, Shizno Elite agrees. Day one for him as well. Ever since playing Limbo. Have you got any thoughts about on any of the subjects of Removable? I feel like you've not talked in a little bit.
Actually, Removable Sanity was on that show, wasn't he? He was with us.
He was.
I was, yeah. Well, that's what I thought. There's no need to. You said pretty much mentioned everything that was going to be mentioned.
He got pushed into playing inside, didn't you? Lord Cog was not happy.
I completed it. I completed it. I made it. Like that was it. It was. Well, the irony is, I had it on my. I owned it. It's just I had chance to get round to doing it. So, it was good to go through the game and actually play it and see it through the entirety, and see the actual storyline and obviously the alternative endings as well and all the aspects of it. As I said, I was aware of the previous game, so I had a good indication of where this one was going. But of course, until you play it, only then can you really appreciate it.
It's true.
So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's truly amazing. Yeah, it's very uniquely made. I think they've got very much their own style. I would say very minimalistic sort of like art style, isn't it? Which is like HUDless as well.
It's like a Hitchcock thriller. I think I kind of remember what it said. It's like it's one of those things where it lures you in without showing too much, but it still gives you the essence of what's happening, in the background. It's a very much of I think it's more very much like a Hitchcock thriller. Effectively, it shows you enough to keep you, lure you in and get your senses tingling, but it doesn't go overboard as well, which I quite liked.
Yeah, it's understated as well in a way, isn't it? Kind of. I think that's what you mean. But yeah, definitely.
Hopefully, one day animated to Mr. Tushi play inside.
Hopefully.
Just
like leave that out there.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's a game that I won't spoil it, but it's like it open to interpretation game. It's very unique. It is.
I do think I started it a long time ago and just never got around to going back on it.
Yeah, it's not a very long game, so you probably, if you went back to it, you probably finish it up in maybe 1 or 2. But it's definitely open to interpretation. I think it's quite a cool story going on, but it's all environmental storytelling, which I think is really cool. Nice way to do things. But yeah, highly recommended. Stubbs has already probably forced you to play it anyway. I won't say anymore.
Right. He might play it now. You never know.
I think he's about to. I'm going to be honest. I think he's about to throw it out there.
Yeah.
Tushi, you can't come on next week unless you complete inside.
How long is it?
Let's get on to these shows, ladies.
How long is inside?
Get on to the game. Get on to the games.
2 or 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. I know what's going to happen. We were diverted, and we're like, they'll be like, we've got 5 minutes to talk about these new games.
So on the Future Game Show, one of the games I liked was a game called Arctic Awakening. It says it started with the world premiere of Arctic Awakening, a futuristic narrative adventure that focuses on Kay and his AI companion Alfie, who must try and survive the extreme conditions ahead of them, with a release date set for next 2022. We can't wait to learn more. That was really good. I was quite impressed with that game. I definitely agree with that. That one, I don't want to just keep talking, but is any of you guys want to talk on Arctic Awakening? I'll tell you what we'll do. Jump in when you're ready.
All right, well, that one wasn't on my list. I've got a couple that I wrote down and thought the ones I'm looking forward to. Arctic Inside didn't really do it for me.
Arctic Inside. He's transfixed on Inside. I think Arctic Awakening is the name.
It's in there. It's in there now. It's embedded. I've got to play Inside. I've got to play Inside.
I love it. I'll just quickly, if no one else can remember Arctic Awakening, I'll just quickly say that I really, really enjoyed this trailer, and it really gave me the vibes of Firewatch and those kind of games, and that's always a good thing in my opinion. I mean, there might, people might think, there's a lot of walking sims, but actually, not many kind of do. do that kind of Firewatch vibes to that T in a way. Unlike, it's a shame because there was a game coming from the Firewatch team which actually got cancelled, which was a shame. And now, you know, this great to see this game coming from a different team, obviously. But I think it really looks cool. I love the vibe of it. And I'm definitely going to be checking it out. Arctic Awakening. Thanks for reminding me, actually, because I kind of slightly forgot about it because so many games we've seen recently. But that was definitely one of my favourites of the show. It opened it up, didn't it? So, and that's how you do a trailer, by the way, where you want to talk to a developer over it, not where you go, let's see the trailer and then talk to the one crew and then talk to another crew about it. But we'll get into that in a bit, I imagine. But yeah, that's how you should do it. I mean, you should edit over voiceover to the trailer itself, and it's, you know, they've done it really well in that way. Future Games Show presentation is very nicely done. Idea Xbox, have a look at the Future Games Show. or Twitch maybe. But yeah, I really like Arctic Awakening. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm going to put it on my wish list now. Thanks for reminding me, because it was a game I definitely wanted to follow. So yeah, definite.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I'll tell you what, because Animated Evil, do you want to go through some of your games you're looking forward to then?
So
You've got a little list there.
Yeah, because
and it's on paper. I like that.
Yeah, old school.
So I really like the Warhammer the trailer, but then I was a little bit disappointed that was in VR only.
Oh,
so that was a little bit. Yeah. Oh, it come on. I thought, oh, here we go. Look at this. Oh, it's VR. No sugar. What I really like the look of. Was there was two that stood out. There was the one that was the first person shoot, which was called Quantum Error.
Oh yeah,
which I thought that looked really, really good.
That's on my list too. That's good.
There was also Chris Tales, which looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. That is really good, that game.
Yeah, but I enjoyed I enjoyed what Team 17 brought to it as well. With they had 4 or 5 different ones there, don't they? And one of them, I believe, is out now. That Naruto boy.
It is. It's out now in Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks amazing.
It's doing really well in the you know, the reviews and stuff. So that's good to hear.
Are they bringing another golf game?
No golf.
No, Tushi. No.
Tushi, you should check out What the Golf on Steam. It's a kind of comedy golf game. You should give it a look.
Is it more comedy than golf with your friends?
I'd say it's better than golf with your friends.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, golf with your friends relies on the fact that you're playing with friends. What the Golf is actually a good game, if you see what I mean. That makes sense. It's 2-player What the Golf. You can play against each other, but just watch the trailer on Steam and you'll be like, you'll get what I'm talking about. It might be for you, it might not be, but it's done very well. A lot of people love it, and it's also, I've played it as well. It's through Apple Arcade, actually. I played it.
But yeah, going back to Chris Tales though. Chris Tales is not usually my art style. It's a bit too cute.
You're right.
But I think the gameplay in that looks absolutely fantastic.
Nice, yeah.
I saw that, and I've been looking it up. It does seem my thing. So even though the art style isn't to my taste, I'm still willing to, you know, overcome.
Do you enjoy turn-based games, or you're turn-based kind of? Yeah, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got turn-based. I played the demo of it actually. It is actually really good. This demo was about 2 hours, quite a good chunk. So,
really?
But yeah, I'm not usually a turn-based guy, and I actually really enjoyed the turn-based combat. And it's got that mechanic of like past, present, and future showing simultaneously on the screen, which is really cool. But yeah, I think a lot of people is getting quite excited about that game, which is awesome to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I forgot one. The Lord of the Rings Gollum looks really good. Because who doesn't like Lord of the Rings, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I know nothing about them. Didn't I get confused on the stream, Indy, when I started saying the wrong names? Yes.
You thought it was Harry Potter, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I have no clue.
That's funny.
Harry Potter and the Fiery Ring.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gollum comes on screen. Harry Potter's let himself go, people, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Harry, you've lost all your hair.
Oh, I thought there was a little guy in Lord of the Harry Potter. Obviously, there wasn't.
You're thinking of Dobby.
You are thinking that there is something very similar, yes.
That's what I might be thinking of. But I've only seen one of them, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh, bless his heart. Bless his heart.
Bless his little concept. Yeah, they're the ones that stood out for me.
Nice. Now the other indie games, man. Removable Sanity. What stood out to you?
It was a weird one because when I went back and tried to catch up because I was unfortunately I missed a couple of shows. I was surprised about Shogun Tactics add-on that was mentioned, and I was like, hang on, that's a game that's been out for quite a while. I know Tushi's just gone perked up there.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they announced an add-on effectively because I thought it was effectively a sequel because I've played the original first and I've got the first and it's a really good game. So to hear, I think then find out I think it's an add-on aspect to it. I was quite intrigued by that. That's a really good turn. It's effectively what I'm trying to think of it. It's almost like Commandos, but set in the Japanese samurai era. And this is an extension of the original game, Shogun Tactics, which is actually you can actually get it now. I don't know. Is it in Game Pass, Tushi?
No, not anymore. It used to be. It left.
It used to be
about 4 or 5 months ago.
It's really good. I think it's about, you can probably buy it now for about £9. It is a really good, if you like your tactical RTSs, it's set in feudal Japan. That is a really good one. Another one I kind of was looking at, the trouble is I backed it on Kickstarter, so I don't know whether I can speak about it. It's called Saviour. And,
nice. That one's
really
good.
I thought I know someone who's probably. I don't know if you backed it as well, because they were mentioning it was probably about 2 years ago. They were trying to get it, and I saw the actual. I think it was they did like a little trailer for it. It's like, this looks really good. It's a kind of retro style, almost 2D platform, side-scrolling 2D platform, I guess. But it's very much almost it's got very much a tactical fighting style game aspect to it, and I think it's got a slight RPG elements to it. I looked at that and I was
really
like,
cool animations as well.
That's right, yeah. It looks brilliant. If you look it up, it is, again, it's a shame it's not on Xbox, but if you look on YouTube or on Steam, it is there, and it is coming to Xbox. I do know that it is coming to the Xbox, but I don't know when. But it is. I really looked like that, and I was like, go on.
Might just have not got to that confirmation yet. They sometimes will have it just as Steam and then later add as, like it's going to be coming to another console, or it might just come on Steam first and then again come a year later or something.
If I remember correctly, the Kickstart has stated it is on coming to a console platforms, and I think it did mention which ones. I'm not going to say at the stage.
Okay, nice.
But as you said, I think it's probably PC first. Wait until that gets done, and then it's going to be ported over. So I am looking quite far for that. And another one, which is actually a PC one, even though I don't own a PC, and I know India produces it. I think it's called Hidden Deep.
Oh yeah, I know.
That's almost. That's a 4-player co-op. It can be 4-player co-op, but it's exploration of, I suppose you class it caverns, and there's almost like it has almost like a Thing vibe to it. There's a little bit of a trailer where you see a guy. It is actually almost like a representation from the Thing, where he is trying to do a defibrillator on a guy, and basically punches through his chest and it eats his hands, almost like a scene from Scene. Copycat from the Thing, but that looks really good in terms of the art style, the atmosphere, how they've tweaked it slightly, and how they made it subterranean. That looked really good. Yeah,
definitely. I think some people got vibes of a bit of Carrion in that as well. Maybe that was
That's
you
it,
as well. Yeah. But obviously a different style of game, but. Yeah, it looks interesting that,
Well, the 4-player co-op also intrigued me and how they're going to do that as well. It was like, okay, this is going to be an interesting one. As I said, it almost had a kind of like, if you remember the original The Thing game, I know that was in 3D, but it's almost like where you could micromanage your little team members' fears and that. I'm wondering whether they're going to go down that sort of path, because whilst looks like it's a little bit actiony, it does seem to like you almost have a horror feel to it as well, sort of thing.
Yeah, I got the horror vibe definitely. But yeah, it definitely looks interesting for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, those were my kind of heavy hitters. I said one of them I backed, so it's like I don't know if I can really speak about that because I could be slightly biased.
That's nothing wrong with that. No, you can
yeah, exactly. I looked at a game, I was like, well, I backed that.
Yeah. What do you get any perks from that, from backing it, or is it a low level back, or did you go for?
It's I at the time I went.
Did you get the game on day one or anything?
Yeah, I would get the game on day one. I think also my name's in the credits as well, and the usual.
Nice.
For those who've actually has ever done a Kickstarter backer, you also get it at a slightly lower price as well. But admittedly, you are effectively backing a game that's in pre-production, in development stage, and you could be waiting for almost like 2 to 3 years for this game to
essentially you're taking a gamble, aren't you? That's the thing.
Yes.
But it could, you essentially, if it pays off, then you're going to get a game. Well, you don't. Yes. That's the thing. Maybe you aren't going to get a game, I suppose, or maybe you're going to get a crap game.
Yeah.
But that's
you don't
the risk.
know what you're going to get.
Yeah, basically.
At the end of the day, I feel because it's an indie title, it's not as if you're putting hundreds of dollars into this. You are helping out the indie developer, and genuinely, as I said, you're going to get the game for a very good price. It comes to you digitally day one. If it does, someone died.
It sounded like
it's cerebral. There you go. So yeah, I would recommend if you are looking to helping out indie devs, Kickstarter and Indiegogo, I think is another Kickstarter-esque sort of site. A lot of indie devs do go on there and actually promote it. And I think there's some. I think you're aware of a couple of indie games that are still going through the Kickstarter, isn't it?
Oh, there's tons that go through that. I mean, that's how Hollow Knight started out. So there's so many that go through a Kickstarter, especially if it's the first game from the studio and that. But yeah, it's a good thing. Yes, it's great to support them, and like you say, it's not a ton of risk, and it's pretty cool if you can usually get a sense for a game being, if it feels good to you, then and they've mapped out all their intentions, which they always do. Then it's good to back these people if you fancy.
I kind of went overboard. I'm probably hitting around the £100 mark at the moment.
Oh,
on games I've kind of backed. It was like a spell in the last year or so. I was going, that looks good.
That's cool. Yeah.
And it's like I'm looking at my list at the moment. I think I've got about 15 games or 15 to 20 indie games I've just backed, and I was like, whoa, it's getting a little bit expensive. But again, it's one of these things. You take the risk, but at the same time, it's I think it's worth it, and it's also helping out the indie developers.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's nice to have Cerebral here. Welcome,
Cerebral.
Hi, Paul.
Welcome, Cerebral.
Thank you. Yes.
How's it going, bro?
Oh, pretty good. I don't know what Tushi did, but Scotland Yard had me in a meeting for the last hour. I don't know what the hell he did though. Shit, asking me all kinds of questions.
It's that video. I told you.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's do what I would have done earlier in the show. Let's see. I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age Inquisition. It's amazing how much of it I don't remember, but man, this game is nice. On the Series X.
You're not low this week, Cerebral. You're very, very high this week.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I'm not high. I might be. Don't be spreading those rumors. DEA, if you're listening, I'm not high, okay? Yeah. Oh. So what have I missed? Let's start over again.
Let's restart. Cancel it.
Hello and welcome to the show, guys.
We're just basically talking about what games you liked of trailers from the Future Game Show.
I missed that one. I was still sleeping from the other show I watched. So,
Dragon Wolf in the chat says he challenges me to go for a month without mentioning Hollow Knight. in podcasts. That's never going to happen.
No, never going to happen.
It will happen when Silk
Can't
Song
resist.
comes out.
Yeah, well, yeah. As long as
No,
it doesn't
he'll
say Hollow
find a
Knight,
way.
so
He'll
it's
find a way to plug it in. He'll find a way to plug it in.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Good
So,
stuff.
Tushi, do you have any picks from future game show that you liked? Is that why
got
your
a
phone's
list.
Open? He's
Got a
actually
list.
got. Oh, he's got a list. See,
Hello.
I thought he had the article open. Yeah, I like that one.
Shout out quickly if you did want to check an article about future game show. Season Gaming has a article, and as Ains was in the chat a minute ago as well. Check out their article on the future game show if you want to recap. Just a little plug for my man Ains over there.
That's good. It's very good.
Yep, Ainsley is awesome. I love Ainsley.
Yeah.
Well, not love. You know what I mean.
No,
Quite fond of
it was correct the first time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we've got to take your first answer.
Well, you didn't take my
Tushi.
first answer. You keep asking. I keep telling you no. But
Perseverance is the key, Paul. Perseverance.
The first game that's always caught my eye. I've spoken to Indy on Twitter a few times about this game, and that was Art of Rally. But obviously, it was only on PC, but now it's on coming to Xbox and Game Pass as well. So it saved me money.
Nice. That was on ID Xbox, wasn't it? But that wasn't on the future game show, but definitely
I
a
haven't watched
nice
the Future Game
pick.
Show.
That's all right, no worries.
We're rolling
Subsidy,
into
baby.
that in a minute anyway.
We're
Tushi,
rolling,
so
are we?
it don't matter.
That's all good, cool.
I've got my list of games that's interested me lately. Obviously,
Awesome.
Exo Mecha. That one's really interests me. That does. It's like a wild mix of. It doesn't remind me of Titanfall and the Titan Brawl or something. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I definitely got that as well. Yeah,
Right,
Bit of
so-
time.
Like
for
an
action.
Ark versus Titanfall vibe.
Yeah, it's wild.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, it did look quite weird.
but yeah, just going back to your Art of Rally point though. Yeah, awesome stuff. I'm glad you mentioned that one. I'm glad it's coming for all Xbox people out there because it's so damn good. Loving it. Loved it on PC.
Check
And
out
they've just. I was just going to say they've just announced a new stage for it as well, which is Kenya, which is fantastic. Sorry, you're going to say stuff. Sorry.
jump over
that isn't. I think that's the one I saw that looked like it was a whole lot of drifting. In other words, that's a game I'm not going to be able to play for crap. Okay.
If you want a nice review on it, jump over to
Yeah.
Indie Gamers channel. It's on there.
Oh, I thank you, sir. That's very
PC
kind.
version,
but
it'll
not
be the
right
same.
now. Wait till
Yeah, not
after
right
the
now.
show,
Wait till
people.
after.
Definitely. But no, that game is awesome. I'm so pleased to see it's coming to Game Pass for Xbox people. Lots of friends who have been asking me, like Shizno Elite in the chat, he's been crying out for that game for ages, and Tushi as well. I've been speaking to you about it, haven't I? But yeah, it's gonna be a fun game for you guys to jump on. Definitely recommended.
Yeah, because I was going to buy it for the PC when I got it, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
just play it on Game Pass. Hopefully, it comes to Game
You
Pass
can hang
PC
on
as
now.
well.
Yeah, I wonder if it
reckon
will
in a few
actually.
weeks.
Yeah, I think it's summer. It's coming. I think. Yeah, which isn't too
Yeah,
long.
I think.
Is it?
They gave an actual. I thought they gave an actual month, but maybe not.
They said. I think it was summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's a great game. It's a great game. There's the mechanics in it. Like you might look at it as sort of like a low poly art style, quite simplistic, but the mechanics are actually really nicely done. The physics of the drifting feels really great. So it will probably surprise you at how good it feels. It'll probably surprise you. It's actually a little bit trickier than you may have thought. It's not micro machines. You know what I mean? It's actually a lot more going on there under the hood, so to speak.
I will definitely check out the review of that that you've done. However, I have got a question about that because that is one of my most anticipated games of the other show.
How big's the lobby?
Does it have a leaderboard on it?
There are leaderboards on Steam at the moment. Yes, indeed. I'm hoping they'll do cross-platform as well.
Yeah, because playing that and smashing a friend's time would be just awesome. That's all I
It's the
wanted.
best. Of
Is it
course,
multiplayer?
I've smashed all my friends' times on there, of course.
Oh, great.
I'm only joking. Well, I have.
Another leaderboard for me to be last on. Wonderful. Great.
Yeah, but I really do hope they make it cross-platform between Steam and every platform really that it's going to be on. Otherwise, I'll just have to go on Xbox and put them on there again. But yeah, it does have that on Xbox. At the moment, the people who I know have got this Coop, Fastback, Dazzy Baby, and I'm not sure if there's anyone else. There's only like 4 of us who have got it on PC. So, but yeah, it's great. It's great. So you're looking forward to that, are you, Animated?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's definitely my thing. That kind of stuff, yeah. The sort of rally cross with a little bit of what's the RC thing? It reminded me of, you know, the old RC.
Pro-Am, you mean?
Pro-Am, that's the one.
Pro-Am, you mean?
Yeah, it sort of reminded me of the sort of kind of thing. It looks really good. But yeah, I'll definitely check out the review.
It's really good. It is really good. It's
Do you know
cool
what it reminds
game.
me of? You remember that game? A lot of people can never remember. It's called Power Drive on the Mega Drive Genesis.
Cool, bloody hell, that's going back some time.
You remember that one?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah. That's what I said. That's going back a bit of time.
It was like someone just died. Anyway, the next one I'm really looking forward to is The Ascent, which I'm really excited for.
Nice.
Yeah, that one looks good.
I can see I'm going to be doing a lot of co-op gaming in that one. I'm really excited for that. Another one was Second Extinction. That's basically like a Back for Blood sort of game. It's free player, I believe, isn't it? Free player co-op?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I wish it was more. Like 20 player, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, personally, I'm not a big fan of all this 3-player co-op stuff. I just think it seems so odd. It's an odd number.
Another one was Song of Iron. I really love the style of that one. It looks
sounds familiar. Song of Iron. It's almost as if we know someone who's done something. Like even spoke to a developer in some. It sounds familiar. I don't know. It's
Yeah, I don't know. Some loser probably.
Someone's definitely had a chat with the developer, and it really, heavily helped everybody get to notice that game, isn't it?
Thank you very much. It's cool. Yeah, I mean, Joey is awesome. Definitely, that game is fantastic. Great to see the new trailer. Sorry, what was that animated? Sorry, buddy.
Did anybody manage to play the demo of that? I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really...
Indy got the world exclusive, mate. He played it for everyone.
I know he did. Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it. It was really good.
Really nice, isn't it? Yeah, it plays really good.
Yes,
Song of Iron, definitely. Yeah, it's really cool. He's building quite a bit on since from that demo what we got to play. But that slice of it was fantastic. I really like the boss battle at the end of it, and like the battles where you go into the little river. You probably remember that animated. That bit's really cool in the demo. But yeah, nice atmosphere, really cool battling, but that was a little secret I had to hold for this one as well, because I actually saw that trailer before it was in this Idea Xbox event, and that meant I knew about the Idea Xbox event before the Idea Xbox event was actually announced as well. And I realised that I'm very bad at holding secrets. That's the only time I've ever done it so far.
You're doing well, but you did keep mentioning something to me. It's like, well, Jez Corden's mentioned it.
Yeah, Jez had the info as well. Yeah, and I was like, I just really want to tell everyone, but I can't. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good to Joe, because otherwise he'll never tell me anything ever again.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's fun though. Fun times, and definitely Song of Iron is awesome, and well excited for that game for sure.
My last one on the list was that Lawnmower Simulator.
Really?
Jeez.
Does not surprise me.
It's one of those games that's cheesy that you get addicted to, like when you play like House Flipper. I've got 1000G on that game. I spent about 40 hours on it, flipping houses and stuff. And I don't know, I like those sort of weird games for some reason.
Yeah, why not? It's kind of the bug snacks of this event, though, isn't it? The Lawnmower Sim.
I'll definitely give it a go.
There's still an audience out there for it, as you can tell.
100%, yeah. A lot of Sims, do well on, on Steam and stuff like that. But Xbox maybe as well. You never know.
What happened to Bug Snacks? We ain't know nothing about that since, have we?
What's that?
Bugsnax. It's gone silent, isn't it, since it's got launched? No.
Not sure how he's doing, to be honest with you. Yeah.
It's mean you don't see nothing about it, do you?
Stubbsy gone
Yeah.
to sleep.
No,
Are you there? You having your dinner at the same time?
No, animated evil distracted me by sending me a picture on Twitter to say that
Naked.
you guys win. He's downloading it.
Dick.
Inside.
I can't believe you've got that. Yeah.
Legend. Legendary. Brilliant.
Inside
Good
downloading as we speak.
That's skill, bro.
I wanted
Nice
to
one.
I did want to ask what everyone's thoughts are on XOM, because we've seen gameplay of the first person you're shooting, and we've seen games that first person, your character can get into
Stubbs is on the shitter.
a helicopter,
What is going
Not
on?
me.
into a tank.
It's not me.
You haven't
What
seen-
is that? Sounds like someone's shopping.
So it's
Like stacking the shelves or something. I don't know. Or just trying to unplug the toilet.
Who is that?
Wow.
Is that you, Cerebral?
What is that?
No, you might be hearing my
Not
TV
me.
in the background. Let me turn that down.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
Yeah, so we've seen gameplay of those facets of the game, but we haven't seen anything from a mech point of view, which is a little worrying, because I'm thinking it may well be that they're automated mechs and you're not going to get in them. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. I'm just stabbing in the dark because we haven't seen any gameplay of being inside a mech whatsoever.
Well, it
That's
sounds
true.
like
You
I
only
thought
see
it'd be,
it as a
that's what I
pilot,
said. It's
isn't
like
it?
Ark. I'm assuming
Yeah.
it's just like Ark, where you just play as the dinosaur.
Yeah.
You could just
It does
literally
look
just
good.
be.
It
That's
does
it.
look
That's
good.
that's
It
the
does.
actual.
Did they not have
Yeah,
one
but-
bit where
but-
you went up into a mech or something? I thought there was
No,
one
it was
little
a hel-
like
it was a
5
helicopter.
seconds. Oh, was it?
No, it was a helicopter. Yeah, he sort of he beamed sort of up into it. Well, he grappled into a helicopter, and
right.
that was obviously first person from there. We haven't seen any gameplay from inside the mech. It's always been from the, let's call it a pilot, the pilot
God,
specialist.
come on.
Blimey.
You caused me a copyright
Thanks, Paul.
strike. I'll be sending it to you.
You know who that was?
throwing
That was
it out
Tushi ringing him.
I know what you mean.
It may just be
I got a copyright strike the other
it's
day.
difficult. It may be because the gameplay for it's not ready yet and they can't show it. There's issues, but
Yeah,
because
that
we
could be
haven't
very well
seen
be the case.
gameplay.
Have they said it's going to
And a
have
little
mech
apprehensive.
controlled action then? Or
Not that I've seen.
no? Right. Yeah. Okay. So
it
would
could
that
be-
be a
it could-
deal
it could be
breaker for you?
something Like, yeah. Well, no, not really. I still play it, but I'm just everyone's
yeah.
going. Oh, I can't wait to get in one of those mechs and go nuts. What if it's
Yeah.
like in Titanfall, you call a Titan and it auto battles for you? That's-
Yeah.
Because everyone I talk to are going, oh, look at that massive mechs. I want to get in one. But if you can't, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you don't know whether it is an AI orientated.
If they
box
haven't
that
even
you can
mentioned the
drop
fact
in.
that they haven't even said if there's mechs in it
I
or not,
haven't-
then and that's the
I
thing.
haven't
It's
seen
like, yeah, people maybe are running away with the Titanfall idea in their own minds, if you see what I mean.
Kind of what I thought as well, though, to be fair. It was like Titanfall. That's what I thought.
Yeah, looks
Hopefully
cool.
But
It
hopefully
does
it's
look
better
nice.
than
It's really
Titanfall.
nice.
Yeah. So if we move, are we still on future? I've completely
Right,
confused.
so now I'm
are
gonna-
we-
I'm gonna
are we
have-
on
No.
future
I'm gonna
game
ask
show or
you-
are we on what?
I'm going to ask you now, Indy, what are your
Yeah.
favourite picks out of both shows? Because we seem to have mixed the shows now.
Both shows.
It's all Tushy's fault. It's all Tushy's fault.
Let's go future game show, shall we?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Saviour was definitely one of mine as well. I won't go into depth because Removals covered that nicely. My game of the future game show. That make any sense? My game of the show for the future game show. If that makes sense.
Okay.
That would be Sifu for sure. Definitely really excited for Sifu. And if any of you guys remember Sifu? The fighting
Sifu?
game? Sifu.
Oh, yeah,
S-I-F-U. Yeah, so Sifu.
Claws and stuff.
Sifu, like as in grandmaster or like master or like as a martial artist. Yeah,
It's
so
seafood.
a seafood, yeah, that's one as well. That was Cooking Pot, wasn't it? Also, like Soup Simulator. Seafood looks amazing in my opinion. It's got fast combat, really amazing animations, and yeah, like you basically, I'm a massive martial arts film fan, so my youth was spent watching tons and tons of Jackie Chan films and stuff like that, so I absolutely love martial arts in general. This film really feels like, they're paying, strong tribute to those kind of things. The combat looks amazing. Like I say, fast-paced, and I really, really am intrigued by the fact that they're doing this interesting mechanic where you, if you die, you age as a character. So
yeah,
that
was interesting. That was very different. That.
Yeah, most definitely. So, like, say you get knocked down, and then you grow a beard or whatever, and then you grow go grey or whatever as well. So eventually you become like a grandmaster age. And I think they're not talking too much about it at the moment. The developers have said, but I feel like that is potentially like a roguelike kind of setup that they're setting up there. So maybe you're going to be like gaining skills along the way, because what you'll do is you'll go on, potentially is what I'm envisaging, is you'll go on a run and you'll try and get as far as possible as you can, and if then you get eventually you get taken down, maybe you start again then, and you have to beat it in one run, potentially like a Hades or whatever. That is what I'm imagining it could be. But I'm really interested by that. They say it's going to have sort of like Souls-like-ish kind of a vibe going onto it. So it can be quite punishing, but at the same time, looks damn amazing. I'm really sorry. I love that sort of stuff. That doesn't put me off at all, obviously. I like that kind of thing. So yeah, Sifu was my definite favourite. I was already excited for Sifu and before the event, and it was really great to see it in there. Kena is definitely another one of mine too. Really, really, really looking forward to that game. Already was sold by it. That was the only thing about this kind of future game show, was that it didn't really have any like brand new sort of like, I mean, it had the Arctic where is it
Awakening.
now? Thank you very much. I just wished this today we were live, so that is why you need to wish this, so you can remember it for later. Yeah, the Arctic Awakening, that looked really good, and there's some others who like in there too, but they're, mainly I knew a lot about the games. Like I say, Kena and stuff like that, which was really good. And Kena had already been announced the release date for that before the game show, so which is coming in August now. But yeah, Kena definitely is one of my favourites from the event. Saviour was definitely one of my favourites, like I said a minute ago. And Axiom Verge was in there, which is fantastic to see because I love Metroidvania games. Really looking forward to checking that out. Chris Dale's in there. There was a lot of good stuff in there. There was even Returnal in there for the if you wanted to see your bigger games, and that looks really good too. But yeah, I thought it was a really good event. Game Deck looked amazing too. That's like cyberpunk sort of world. The new trailer of that looked awesome, I thought, and really interested to see that. Like Game Deck really reminds me of like Disco Elysium, but a cyberpunk version of it. Very in-depth kind of RPG is what I'm getting the vibe of. But yeah, looking forward to it. Back 4 Blood was there too. There's loads of stuff. I won't keep going on about it. You don't need the full rundown, but I thought it was a good event. I always liked the Future Games show, and
much more snappy and
yeah, exactly. The presentation.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
Better quality, wasn't it?
Oh, Ainsley.
Exactly.
Shots fired. Indy's
Ainsley?
making all this up, I'm sure of it.
Where is he? I can't see.
The
Oh,
chat.
there he is. Making all this stuff. What's he making up? The games, or which one's Ains? I was on his show the other day, so he's probably
He's pulling your leg.
he's pulling my leg. He loves it. He loves it. It's good to see you, Ains, bro. But I definitely am making it all up, guys. So I just no, I'm not really. But yeah, it was a great show. I think Future Game Show is great, and I hope that the next Idea Xbox Showcase has more of a good pacing to it, like the Future Game Show did. Personally, I think that's a better way to go. I think they do a good job. Ains is laughing now. But yeah, moving on. If you want me to keep going, or did you want to come back to you and then come back to me later, or do I want me to just dive straight into the Idea Xbox?
No, you might as well dive in if you want. That'd be a good idea. What? Sorry,
No
what
worries.
are you doing, Mr. Tushi? I've no idea what you're doing. You don't.
We've been watching him play with his phone for like the last 10 minutes.
Is he trying to buy inside? Has he bought inside now?
He's resisting it.
Inside.
No, it's not brought.
Sorry. Oh no.
I've installed it.
Yeah, no, sorry. Indeed, run down your list of favourite games from ID Xbox.
Yeah, so there was quite a lot for this one. I feel that, like I've said many times, a lot of people are focusing on the event, which is fair enough in some ways, but if you are going to focus on the negativity of the event presentation, I always think, please just make sure you add to that. There were some great games as well, because we don't want to continue on that fact, so you can say, oh yeah, the event was bad, the presentation pacing was really bad, it could have been done in a lot less time, and it would have been much more, you would have been fresh watching it and taking it in a lot better, and the indie devs would have had a good spotlight in that way. I think maybe they had an innocent sort of approach to it, where they were trying to give lots of spotlight to the interviews and stuff, but at the end of the day, in these kind of longer sort of form presentations, the interviews need to be pre-recorded and then edited down so that they're nice and concise, and they just add to the effect of the game, and then you can check out more in-depth interviews outside of the actual event, in my opinion. But yeah, like I say, saying that, the games looked phenomenal, and you could tell where Xbox had made these sizzle reels in their usual style, which looked amazing. They did what Xbox done was obviously clearly made those sizzle reels, exactly. the 3 of them, handed them off to Twitch. Twitch then took it in like they're in their own hands, and they decided let's do it in a Twitch style way and do everything really candid and slow, and that's what happened. But that's what, in my opinion, like when you're watching those sizzle reels, you're like, yeah, I'm loving it, and then it just slows down the pace.
That was right at the end of the event, weren't it? They showed them Xbox sizzle reels.
There was 3 of them throughout the event. So there was one of the spread out through it, I think. But anyway, let's get back onto the games now. Like I said, it was always good to highlight those. So Art of Rally, like I said earlier, really awesome to see that there. Already loved that game so much on PC. Glad to hear it, as well as the game being announced for Xbox, that we're getting an extra environment to race into, which is cool. So that adds to the PC factor too, a little bit extra content for us, which is cool. But yeah, Art of Rally coming to Game Pass on in the summer, so check it out, guys. We've already said that already, though. Highly recommended. Really great game. Probably my favorite new announcement from the whole event would be Death's Door. I don't know if any of you guys remember that game. That was the Devolver game, which so it's published by Devolver. It kind of reminds me of like a darker Tunic. So if Tunic wasn't there, then Death's Door's got your back. That's what I say.
This is the one with the crows in.
This is the one with the crows in, indeed.
Yes, I like look at this one. Yeah. I do.
Yeah, this one looks really cool. I like we were watching the stream, and like when the trailer came on, I said, this is what I love about indie games. You can be looking at a crow walking along like a human would, and you can love it. You know what I mean? It can sell you whatever it is. They can do it in their own way, and if they sell it to you right, then if they do it in their own unique way, and it looks great and everything, then it can be awesome and just so different. That's what I love about indies. Definitely something unique all the time. But yeah, like that game looks fantastic. I really like the sort of like vibe to it. The visuals look really incredible. Playing as a crow is just cool, and the cutscene animations look really cool as well. Like they are really nicely done in the cutscenes, and the gameplay obviously as well is cool. It's got like a role style mechanics, kind of got like a Souls-like vibe to it as well, which is really cool, and I'm very much looking forward to. And obviously Zelda vibes to it too as well, which hence the reference to Tunic too as well. But yeah, the Ascent of course has to be mentioned, because as you know, I'm a big lover of that game. I did the video on it. If you fancy checking that out ever, then that would be much appreciated. If you have already, you're a legend. Thank you. But yeah, really looking forward to the Ascent, and I thought this new trailer actually looked a step up again from like what we've seen before on Death's Door, on the Ascent. I feel like this one
a lot more off, didn't they? They were much more in terms of the ray tracing and the effects, and a lot more.
Punched
it
up.
seemed, as you said, it ramped up everything in terms of the action. The vision. I think even they showed when they were one of the aspects that kind of got me was almost when they was doing almost like a platform section where you could see in the background of where them running across. They just seemed to
the side-on one. Is that what you meant?
That's it, yes.
Yeah.
It ramped up everything.
It did. Okay.
I mean, it looked good anyway, but it was
I agree.
definitely pushed a hell of a lot more into this.
I really felt that, yeah. And this trailer was both focused on co-op action as well, which is cool. So it's going to be 4-player co-op, as we probably already knew. But yeah, like I felt it looked more punchy in the visuals, and also the sound sounded more punchy as well, which was, as I said on Ains's show, check out the Season Gaming channel for the podcast on there. Bitcast, always a pleasure to be on that show. We were talking about it there too, and I said it definitely feels punchier, and I feel like the audio gives that a lift and stuff. But yeah, I was a little bit worried about that previously, where it was kind of felt a little bit soft, very slightly. That was my only kind of criticism previously about the Ascent, but I feel like they've sort of like...
It was very good.
Yeah.
But it's proving properly, Indy. Your video on your channel's 1.4 thousand views, so people are searching for it. So the Ascent,
it's doing really
people
well,
are loving
actually.
it. So congrats.
Thank you, my
on
friend.
that.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, the video's doing really well, which I'm super happy about. Great to see that. A lot of people positive for the Ascent, and yeah, those kind of videos are definitely something I'm going to be doing more of in the future on other games too and stuff like that, to highlight them.
Good,
but yeah,
good to see.
Thank you, my
side
friend.
note quickly, I thought of you today. We were going down a lane. We were going down a lane down the road. Guess what the lane was called? Hades Lane.
That would be weird. Lovers Lane. That's brilliant.
No,
Hades
it's called
Lane,
Hades.
nice.
Oh, there's no joke. Hades Lane.
Love it.
For Indie Gamer. Sorry,
Brilliant,
carry on,
great
my friend.
game. That's all right, my friend. I've probably harped on too long already, but yeah, I mean, I just a couple of quick ones more to mention. I mean, you've already mentioned Song of Iron. That is very much one of my most anticipated games. We've talked about that earlier on. Definitely one I would like to add on is Omno, which looks fantastic.
I like
kind of
that.
Yeah, like a low poly art style, kind of like Journey vibes, which is really cool, and made by one guy as well who used to be an animator, and yeah, now he's making this game, which is fantastic. Really looking forward to Omno. That's coming to Game Pass as well, which is cool. Nobody Saves the World looks really great from Drinkbox. Yeah, it looks really nice. You can really get the vibe of it being their kind of game. It's them making it, if you know what I mean. Even though it's different to Guacamelee, which was obviously their previous game, but this one kind of has that has the color and the sort of punchiness of the graphics. I feel like, and the artwork is amazing in it, and I think it's going to be really cool. But yeah, definitely really looking forward to Nobody Saves the World. Some interesting mechanics where you play as different kind of characters to do different mechanics within the game, which I think is interesting. And finally, maybe there's a ton more of on list here, but I'm just going to pick up Loot River, which looks really, really cool. In my opinion, Loot River kind of looks like a Devolver game as well. It's a kind of a pixel art, top-down, dungeon crawling, like action roguelike game. And you guess where? I don't know if you remember. You top down and the platforms move really fast, and it's kind of like you're running. You're like I think you're like a plague doctor or something with the mask and stuff, and you're basically running through, slashing and stuff like that. Definitely gave me it's not actually a Devolver game, but it reminded me of a Devolver style game, and I really digged Loot River. So yeah, looking forward to that one too. You must stop me, otherwise I'm a train that will keep going and smash into the station no time at all. So you must stop this train.
Some seriously good picks there, mate. It was a very
Thank you very much.
There's lots of games there. It was
a lot, wasn't there? There's a lot of great good games, and it's good to celebrate them. I mean, there's more that other people I'm sure will mention, but
exactly.
Yeah,
it's nice to hear the positivity of the games, because as we know, a lot of podcasts, not all podcasts, and there's been a lot of videos made that just want to focus on negativity of the event when it was actually some good games there. There was.
Definitely. Did Paul check out the event? Or?
Yeah, that's a good point.
The only event I kind of checked out, I was on with Xbot on his stream, was the ID at Xbox One, and I did like the game footage I saw, but I'm going to be the negative ninny and say the pacing was painful. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry, it was just, but that's why I hate to say it, I'm one of those guys that I don't necessarily watch a lot of those events unless I'm really interested in what they're showing, like the main events at E3 and stuff like that. Otherwise, I just wait till the video clips hit YouTube and then I go through them, just because it cuts away a lot of the stuff. not that I'm not necessarily interested, but it came down to the pacing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the pacing was well off, wasn't it, for sure?
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not trying to badmouth it. If you even go to the stream, you'll see that I kept saying, some people really dig this kind of information. They're into this. They wanna hear what the developers say. They want to hear what was behind the idea.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm one of them people who I watch interviews from developers all the time, just as an isolated interview on YouTube or whatever. And even I still would feel from this event, it's not the right thing still in this event, in my opinion, because it has to be like shot before and edited down, and it's like flows better. They didn't have any regard to an actual pace. There was no momentum, if you see what I mean.
No,
they could have done it. They could have done it. They could have done the interviews at the end. They could have showcased all the trailers off and then said, here's the individual interviews with the actual developers. And also I thought sometimes the people who were actually asking the questions were like, they were struggling.
Well, I don't know that they actually knew what they were talking about. I'm sorry.
And I was like, really? Are these the questions you're asking? And it's like,
I know, it was bad. They were going around the houses.
And and it was like, it was a little bit painful, that's what worried me more than anything else, because the developers that were there clearly have passion for their games. And in some cases, I felt the people who would talk to them, they weren't bringing the best out of the developers at all.
No, I think
you could tell they had major passion.
Right,
But
I
it
think
was just
the two ladies leading the thing, they were probably given scripted questions. They were just kind of going through the motions, Smile, look pretty, and do what the script says, which is basically what it looked like.
I don't even know if they did have anything, did they? It felt like they were just really off the cuff to me. I don't know. Maybe they did have some.
I don't think so, because there was like one interview I watched where it was made by one of the games was made by two people, but then he went on to say, well, I have outsourced a lot of work, so it's technically not made by two people. Then the two girls came back. Excellent game made by two people.
Well,
they weren't listening.
At the same time, though, that is often the thing, though. Like Joe is making Song of Iron. He's a one-person dev team, but he has got an outsourced audio person, so it does happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, they're just not part of the core team, and that's what I think you're talking about. Death's Store with that, because there's two-person team on that, and they've got some people doing some artwork for them and stuff.
I think that was the interview I sent you, weren't it? And you go, I've already watched it, mate. You were like, Windows Central, weren't it?
Yeah, it's really good. I really like Miles, what he does on the Windows Central channel. He does great work. He's very good at all of his voice work, and his editing, his packaging of everything is fantastic. Yeah, they do. It's a really good channel.
I will definitely be checking out some of the games as they release. I'm one of the. That's what I wait for usually, unless it's a big title. I'm and especially some of the games I would be interested in that I think really look cool are games that I know I can't play. That driving game, the drifting game. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Not because I don't want to play it, but because I know I'm not going to be able to. And the platform, the top down platformer you were talking about. Yeah, that's another one that I might try, but I can pretty much guarantee I'm not going anywhere with that one. It's like,
Fair enough. Yeah. Omno, though, what do you think about that? That looked pretty cool. Would that be something you would be getting to, Omno? Do you remember that one?
I missed that.
Omno, so it's a low poly sort of kind of like Journey sort of adventure sort of.
That would definitely get my attention. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm all for the adventure games, but because like I said, platformers are hard for me, and I may try them, but I know that I probably won't be able to complete them. Or I'll get really frustrated.
I know what you mean. I mean, so 12 minutes, that would probably be up your street then, because that was shown as well, wasn't it? Would that be something you would go in for?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so the thing about 12 minutes is it's great to see it there, but at the same time, it would have been nice to have seen something a little bit new, because it was a repeated trailer. And
I was going to say, some of the stuff they came up with was stuff I'd seen previously,
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a shame on that front. I think that he's just truly, really knuckling down. I think that's what it is, and it takes a little bit of time to maybe get that trailer done, but it would have been nice. But at the same time, I feel like he's very much on the final stretch, and he's just doing that push for the goal, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't think it'll be that long before we see 12 minutes. Looking forward to it. I know a lot of people are as well.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
one I'm
Fast
looking
Back.
forward to. I've fixed your mic, Cerebral, Paul. I've StreamYard can now let you turn the mic down slightly. I fixed it. I have.
Oh, was I too loud? Wow. You're too quiet. You're too loud. You're too quiet. You're too loud.
What's
Yeah.
up, Fastback,
There was a
bro?
couple
Go
that
on.
I thought were good. Sorry, I like the look of Chivalry.
I think you are having connection issues. Animated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Are you
strange.
there?
Good
Animated.
positive
Frozen.
mentions.
He did message saying he's having connection issues. He's frozen completely.
He has, unless he's just really
Either
still.
that or he's not moving.
Exactly.
Which is totally possible. Which is totally possible. You know.
Oh, dear.
Judson mentioned in the chat about the one about the deer headbutt in the the vending machine. Is that the one that was
Yeah.
shown at E3 2018?
It is. Yes, it is. Yeah. So there was a
You got
few
the
that
nose
actually
as a
came.
torch.
Yeah, that it was. It's called Way to the Woods. That game.
So I heard that got cancelled.
Oh no,
Some
they get
parts
cancelled.
back.
No,
That was ages ago, though.
no, it's being made by one guy. He's a very young developer as well. It's his first game, and I think when he started making it, he was 16 or 17 or something. Now he's about 21 or something like that. So,
He's saying
very
28, 30.
yeah. Looks really cool though. Nice game. It's good to see it popping up in there. Like I said, there was some games that popped up, even though we didn't see like all of them, which was cool to see. There's in the sizzle reels, like that game, like you mentioned. So yeah, like there's a ton of games coming to the platform and like through Idea Xbox. So yeah, we've got so much to look forward to in that regard.
Rift Breaker.
It was that same show that
Yeah.
12 Minutes was first shown as well, wasn't it? I believe.
That was shown at E3 the first time. Not for the first. It was actually revealed in 2015, but on the Xbox stage,
didn't
it was
see that.
revealed in 2019. It was at 2015. It was at
nice.
PAX. I think it was shown first. But yeah, that's a while back, and it's evolved since that. And 2019 is when it was at on the E3 stage for Microsoft. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, looking forward
Years
to
are
that
flying
game
by.
for sure.
Years are
Yeah.
flying by, aren't they?
There's another cool game as well. They are indeed. There's a cool game called Recompile as well, which is a really cool looking game.
Yep.
It's kind of like Glitch, but like world. You're sort of like in the Matrix or something. It's a Metroidvania as well, which is it's got combat, it's platforming, and like hacking and stuff like that in the game. And it also has a branching narrative too, which is interesting. But yeah, I really like the sort of like Glitch visual style that they've got going on. It kind of reminds me of the levels in Ghost Runner where you sort of go into like that sort of world. If you play the game, you know what I mean. But where you sort of in between levels where you're kind of talking to the
Yeah.
I forget what he's called now, the guy that guides you and stuff. But yeah, like, I think it looks really cool. Have you checked out Recompile? Have you removable sanity?
And that was at the EGX. I actually had a chat with
Yes.
the developer at the time with him about that, and he was very because obviously he was in discussions with, I think, with the ID Xbox team at the time, and he was saying how helpful they were in terms of what was going on. And I remember playing it, and
Nice.
it's like, this is going to be one to watch for. So it's nice. It's coming to fruition, sort of thing, because it's one of those things. I think me and you, when we spot games early on, and then we kind of follow it from a distance, and we see it evolve into,
Yeah,
into
exactly,
its
yeah.
final form, isn't it?
Exactly.
And Recompile is definitely one that I was very. Even then, it had a fantastic visual style to it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
one of those things that kind of pops in your head and stays there regardless. It's like, wow, that is really,
That's good to hear.
it really, yeah, it was, and that was one of the things that I kind of suppose we missed from, because EGX and EGX Res, you got to see these almost first murmurings of the indie games, and I hope
Yeah,
they
that's
do bring them back.
Yeah, you'll often see them at
because-
these events first. If you get into these events, you'll see them before, and then it's kind of like later on you'll see Idea Xbox add them to their program, or like
Exactly, yeah.
like Omno or something like that, or like Skatebird, which was I saw at like EGX 2019, and then it was added to Idea Xbox later, like you say. So yeah.
Well, actually, also IDX actually goes to these events because we're actually speaking to one of the guys who is, I think he's one of the bosses at ID Xbox, and he also goes round to these events as well. And then it's kind of like effectively has a meeting with them saying, actually, I think you'd be a good fit for, the ID team sort of thing. I've met him a couple
that's
of
part of the
times.
event for them. It's this meeting. They showcase their game, but they also usually schedule meetings with publishers and stuff at events and stuff like that. Yeah, that's true, definitely. Yeah.
But that was I'm looking forward to Recompile. I must be. You may know actually there was another one that was. It's almost like it's a side-scrolling, almost slight Star Renegade sort of aspect, but it was more set in like where it's all gods. I'm trying to think. It was I can't. It's really frustrated me, and it's got a very almost like artistic storyboard style. It's 2D side-scrolling, but it's almost like battle. Like where you have like 4 or 5 people battling against each other.
It's not Astria Ascending. It's not Astria Ascending.
It could be Ascending. It could be that one. Yes.
Astria Ascending. It's kind of JRPG like. Is that the one? Or
yes,
maybe
that's the one.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's the one I was looking at. Yeah, that was also very.
Yeah, they're good. That one.
Appealing.
Definitely.
Again, I think to be honest with you, it was a shame really. The games that were on show were slightly dulled by the pacing, and that was probably the biggest worry for me because I jumped on watching your stream, and the last hour I sat with it. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is tough. This was tough, and you were there for a very long time, and it was like, damn, this is. I want to just see, I want to see the gameplay. And don't get me wrong, it's a bit like you. I love speaking to the devs. I love listening to the devs' sort of interviews. But it was, it was a struggle. And I thought it's just, unfortunately, I felt a lot of those games, as you rightly said, people are going to focus on the negative side of it, and then probably have forgotten a lot of the really good titles that were in there. And over 3 hours, well. It doesn't help matters, does it? Really, as I said, I think they should have done a much more punchier system, or at least paced it where they said, "Here's all the trailers, here's some of the gameplay, and now here's the setup of the individual developer talk, which you can then, at your own leisure, jump into to see what you want to find out more about what's going on."
Yeah. I think part of the reason they wouldn't do that is because they know that as soon as you hit the end of that, all the sizzle reels and stuff, and all the game information, that people would tune out. That's why some events are created like that. They kind of put you in a situation where you've got to stay and listen to the dev if you want to see what's coming up next. And that's not just for these kind of things. That's how they generally run meetings like this. Here's the good stuff. Here's some of the slower stuff. Go back to the good stuff.
But that negative impacts on the actual games themselves.
Yeah, but if you put all the talky at the end, a lot of people are going to leave anyway.
If Twitch was looking at numbers, they would see their Twitch numbers were dipping and dipping throughout the show.
Oh yeah, some of the streams were like dying quickly. Yeah.
No, I mean the main Twitch stream, it was dipping a lot.
I know. It dipped a whole lot. Yeah. By about the end of the second hour, it took a big dip. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched a Future Game Show before, Paul, at all?
No, I haven't.
No. Cool. I feel like that's the format they should look at. To go for.
Yes.
It's definitely a good way, I think. I mean, and also like there's a show called The Escapist Showcase. They've got a YouTube channel, The Escapist. They've got about 1 million subscribers, but they usually do an indie showcase, which is really good. And they've done one last year, which we actually did a reaction to. I think it was with Removal might have come on to talk about that one on our first show. Maybe that might have been. But yeah, there was that one. They actually do what you were saying about their Removal, which is. Show the trailers essentially, and then afterwards they do an interview with each developer and they play the game. Like there usually is 2 of them, one of them talking to the developer and one of them playing the game, kind of thing. And there's 3 of them, so in total, and that actually works really well because you can then soak up, afterwards the deeper dives, and you get obviously all the trailers in a good amount of time when you're actually watching it, and it's usually packed full of good stuff. So it actually worked quite well. I thought the Escapist
with the devs
style
as well. you see the gameplay in real time. Effectively, I know it could be pre-done, but it almost like it's in real time. You see someone playing it, you see someone mess up or have problems, whilst the developer's there and going, well, actually, I put that in there just to trip you up. You're like, okay. And
well,
so you do get
that makes it interesting. That makes it interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes
that's the way it really should have been the better way.
It's a good way of doing it that way, I think. Yeah, I mean, or alternatively, like I say, shoot these videos of interviews prior to the event and edit them down, and then take the best questions and best answers, and then edit about 1.5 to 2 minutes over the videos and stuff. So you can have a whole trailer play, and then you can come back and loop round for another trailer. So you play it once as it normal with sound and everything, and then loop it back round and play it for the second time, and then you dip the audio of the trailer, and you have the voiceover this time for the second time through, so you get another look at the trailer, and you also this time round you're hearing a bit of takes from the developer, and that would be a maximum of about 3 or 4 minutes or something, depending on how long the trailer is, and you're still getting some good insight, but it's not too long or whatever.
Let's just start hiring us, I think.
Yeah.
That's taking it. Hire us, we can sort it out for you. We can make it a little bit more snappier.
Yeah, exactly. Stubbs has gone to sleep again.
Yeah, you know what it's like.
No, I am here. I'm just letting you and Removal bounce off each other, because you know a lot more than I do about indie games and the way it's all these shows and interviews, etc. I know it's a big thing for a Removable and indie gamer. Indie games are.
I just feel like I've been talking too much.
No, it's good to hear you. It is.
Oh, cheers, buddy.
Have you fixed your connection yet, Animated? Any better?
I do believe I have, yes.
Yes.
We've
you know what it was? You was downloading inside, and it screwed your internet up. So you can blame Indie for that.
This is the thing. It was hardly downloading at all, but we're having work outside the house, so we're having stuff dug up and things, and it's been a bit, shall we say, crap for the last couple of days. So it seems to be working fine now.
That's good.
Which is good. So, yeah.
Tushi's still here. That's always good.
Tushi's back again. Tushi was kicked out. That was that was good as well, of course.
Yeah, just kicked me out.
I did. Yeah. So I was going to say there was a couple of games that I saw that you didn't mention.
Cool.
Chivalry was one of them. That looks fun. That's the
nice.
The
big battle, isn't it?
The big battle fighting one. Yeah, that looks
good.
Also, Astria Ascending. It's like Final Fantasy-esque.
That's what we just mentioned.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't there. So, but the last
no. It's good that you both have a similar sort of taste in that one. It must be.
Yeah,
it does look good.
Yeah, Astria Ascending really piqued my interest. But one of them that I thought was really interesting was Last Stop.
Oh, nice. That's been on my list for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
Where they did that little play where the swap bodies, and that looked really interesting.
I'd say that actually did appeal. Did that hook you in then? Because what actually happened to me, I'll be 100% honest. That game has been one of my most anticipated, and actually that particular show of it put me off a little tiny bit. I'm still very much looking forward to it, but it did kind of make me think, oh, maybe it needs to tighten up a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Is that the controls you were a bit worried about, or was that the actual?
Yeah.
It's one of it's just. It got me thinking, because it's the first time I've seen it, so I just thought, now this could be fun, because I do like your stuff like Life is Strange and things like that, and your little story things that are a bit weird. I do like that sort of stuff, and I thought it's completely different to what I've played before, and I just thought to myself, now this looks really fun.
You know, I'm learning today that it would be easier to ask Indy, are there any games you're not looking forward to? It'd be a much shorter answer.
Probably. Unless it's a AAA.
Now, Indy, are you looking forward to the next Assassin's Creed?
Not particularly, no. Unless they change it, unless they decide to reinvent it, then I'll be passing again.
Al, what's your favourite Life is Strange? It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I like Before the Storm.
Yeah, it was good, that was.
Maybe.
What do you think about the new one? Have you seen the reveal of that?
That looks
I've seen
very
it.
good.
Life is Strange.
I've not seen it
yeah,
yet.
that looks really good. That was on the
True Colours.
Future Games, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah.
it was on State of Play as well.
It did look really good. It looked really good.
Yeah, I think that looks really good. They've got actual motion capture now, like for performance capture for like the facial expressions and stuff. So really looking a lot better in my opinion than previous.
I liked the Tell Me Why as well. I thought that was done really well. Was it Tell Me What? It was called Tell Me Why, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. The Xbox only one thing they did. Yeah, I enjoyed that as well. So, but yeah, that Last Stop looked a little bit something akin towards that storytelling kind of way, but something different.
Yeah, that game looks. It's coming from people who made Virginia. If you've seen that game, which is a story-based game with no words in it, I
think I've played it.
You may have seen it's come up on sale quite a few times on Xbox. It's kind of like you like FBI agent, and it's kind of like I say, no words spoken in the game. It's all like environmental, pretty interesting. But yeah, no, the Last Stop, like I say, I've been really looking forward to that game. I featured it in one of my videos after it was shown. Actually, it was shown at XO19. Don't know if you remember that. That's where I first got wind of that game, and it was one of my top 10s for that. And definitely really looking forward to it. I like the quirkiness and the very British feel about being London and the accents and stuff. You know what I mean? I quite like that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It did slightly worry me, that presentation. I just don't think that was the best way to showcase it. Maybe it, but I think it's going to be a cool story because we've got like an interwoven narrative between 3 different characters, which is interesting to me. So good choice, buddy.
Yeah, that all comes into one at the end.
Yeah,
I'm just going to be interesting to find out as you play it what's going on. Yeah,
definitely.
And that was really, you've mentioned everything else I really like. Been no stopping you today, Andy.
I'm sorry, I need to be stopped.
Keep going.
It's like Lupus just said, no, not at all.
Absolutely.
I love your passion listening to you, Indie Gamer.
I'm sorry if I've been too much.
No,
It's been good.
The show was about the showcases, and so that's where we're at. So
Good stuff. Yeah,
we've
cheers,
brought
guys.
We've brought the expert in on, so we're good.
You're too
and
kind.
Prophet says I don't look very well, and I'm feeling a little under the weather. So if you do all the talking, I don't have to. So
Fair enough. Yeah, I love it.
So,
was it?
Removable. Have you got any games from that show that you liked?
Well, Indy's pretty much told everything about the ones. He's pretty much mentioned every single one of them.
Do your own take on it. I want to hear what you think about them.
It was actually there's a lot in there that kind of was like, it was great to see them being showcased off. Again, it's one of those things. For me, it was. I found that I was a bit of a strange one. I've already. The way I do things, a bit like indies, if I spot something early on, I don't wish list it, but what I kind of do is the moment I spot an indie title, I kind of try and find the developer on Twitter and then follow them. And so I do my own version of stalking, as if it is that regards. And so a lot of these I kind of already was already been following a lot of these ones anyway. As I said, 12 minutes is, again, that kind of indie put me onto that one, and I was like, okay, that looked quite good. And I think they've actually released another trailer where they're talking, where it showcases off the voice actors. I'm sure I spotted that is either today or was a day or two ago, where they actually got the voice actors doing some of the voice work for that game, which is William Dafoe.
12 minutes. Yeah, I saw that. That was quite a while ago, actually, that trailer went out. But yeah, there is.
Is it just a regurgitation of that one again, is it, sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, not when I say a while, I mean maybe a couple of months ago. I think the trailer was. It shows them talking and doing like with their script and stuff and talking into the mic and stuff. Is that what you? Yeah.
And it was it's one of the things. If you haven't seen it or you've kind of missed it, and I think that's what because I remember seeing the one I just like. Well, this looks exactly like one I've seen previously. And so in some cases, if you have missed it, it's great, it's there. And I can understand why they don't always bring on the latest trailers, because maybe, as you said, they're sitting there, they're getting their heads down, trying to push out, trying to work through the game and get the thing out. I did find that as some of these trailers were, I've already seen them, or just by following the developer, I've already ahead in some cases, because a majority of these things they do release. If you follow the developers, they do give you snippets or releases of those aspects already, don't they, sort of thing. I said one of the ones I really liked, and again, it was mostly because I follow the developer, was Riftbreaker. And I've been following that for a while. And he does a lot on Twitch as well. He actually showcases off a lot of the actual gameplay, which is a weird one, because you didn't see a lot of it in the actual ID Xbox showcase. But if you follow the actual developer, you really get a very good feel for what's going on, and you also see a lot of it, how it's progressed. And I know he does it on a regular basis, where I think it's either every Tuesday or Wednesday. He does an hour stream of him playing the game and then finding problems with it, and then working out how to actually how to resolve it. So I would recommend
that's ballsy to actually show himself playing a game that has bugs, but at least he's saying, okay, I know I gotta fix this, I know I gotta fix that.
And that's why I've followed him, because it's a unique way. I've seen many devs who are willing to showcase off
glitchy stuff.
I mean, when you go to events, you do see a fair bit of that, but it's I know what you mean, but like with Skatebird, that's been like that. That's quite. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's progress. He does, as long as people know. I know what you mean. Though. Sometimes people take that as the final product for some reason because they're silly. But...
Oh no, I think it's one of these things. It's like, please be aware, this is still in development.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
But he goes into a little bit more in depth of how he's doing things. Again, if you follow him on Twitch, you'll see that the Riftbreaker guy does also. So if you follow him on Twitter, you'll see his Twitch stream. And that will give you a very good indication of how the games progress, and it does really look amazing. It's a weird one. It's like I felt that was a bit slowed down.
If you don't mind, because I've been intrigued about this game quite a bit before we saw it on as well, and I'm trying to figure out, right, is this game a strategy game, completely Command and Conquer or whatever? I know that's an old school reference, but like a bit of that Command and Conquer action. So do you think we're controlling the mech at all, or do you think it's completely like, say, this is what I want you to do, kill this group over here, and the mech goes and does it?
You are controlling the mech. No, you are controlling the mech.
That's why I got the vibe of it as a hybrid. So it's kind of an action game stroke strategy game then.
Yeah, it's a hard one. It's a strategic building action game. You're trying to build up your base at the same time as waves of monsters are hitting you and trying to tear you down. It's very action orientated, whilst at the same time
I think it's going to be really good for that reason. That is so good. I'm glad.
One of the things I saw was the explosions. You see when the entire base, and it's for those who haven't seen it, you'll see like a typical, almost like a Command & Conquer is a very good reference. You'll see almost like a base full of a variety of different buildings, and one explodes, and the knock-on effect of how that impacts all the other buildings, and then it's a series of explosions. It looked beautiful. It really looked. The structure of it was like.
It does look great, that game.
It's again, it's one of those things. If you do look at the trailers, try and follow the actual developers on Twitter if you can, as we said, or wishlist on Steam, and you'll find a little bit more than you'll find out a lot more than just sitting around waiting for the actual these showcases.
Same goes for a lot of developers as well. So same advice to that. For a lot of games, if you fancy a game, then try and follow, because it's really interesting to see, isn't it, how it develops, especially with indie games, because they're very open about their development, most of them.
Yeah, and I think for me, it endears them a lot. It endears me to them a lot more, but also depending on the developer, it also showcases off the struggles they sometimes have. And as a gamer, you don't always see the benefits, but you don't very see the negative side of things as well. So you don't see. I said that's what kind of tweaked me to his, is that he's showcasing off the struggles as well as his, his achievements, and that was like
showing his human.
You know what? Yeah, exactly. We just know of this guy who's done something, and here's the product. What you don't see behind it is the struggles, the issues, the stresses of producing that game. And the more we can, I would say, humanize the developers, the more you'll start to realize how much they really do struggle and really do put their all into it.
Definite.
Absolutely.
That's me taking over. So
no, it's good.
I'll pipe down.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, people forget that behind every developer account, or on Twitter or anything other social media, there's an actual person behind that. People do forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a family behind it that are struggling. There's a wife. There's a child. There's and people are human. Don't get me wrong. People sometimes say the wrong thing, make the wrong things, having a bad day, and snap out on Twitter. We forget these things. We're very much a bit of a black and white in terms of when it comes to social media, and we forget that there's a human entity out on the other end. And sometimes they're going through a lot of struggles or going through a lot of stresses you don't see. When you just see the snippet, and that's the problem with social media, you see a snippet. You don't fully see the human being behind it, so you don't know the problems or issues or stresses they feel. That's why I try to, and I know it's hard, I try my best to give people a little bit of leeway when they do maybe say something which most people don't like or disagree with, because they could just simply be having a very bad day. We all have it. We all have these issues. We all sometimes make the wrong mistake and say things we probably can't, or want to take back. A little bit more empathy. That's just probably more regardless in society. And also just a little bit more understanding that, they haven't got millions of pounds. And so the stresses on them are 10 times greater. And in some cases, I've known people who are literally, they're doing stupid amount of hours, and their family's welfare is dependent on it. So you can imagine that pressure on the back of them, as well as trying to, micromanage the social media account, whilst also trying to micromanage the game.
Well, I mean,
God forbid. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it.
Look at all the crap that CD Projekt Red took, and they're a big company, and their developers got death threats and all kinds of stuff, but they had a company that backed them, who came out and said, you gotta stop this shit. The poor indie guy, if he gets a bad review or he gets crap, he's got nowhere to turn except his family, himself, and that's a lot. That's a lot of stupid pressure for stupid people.
Yeah, there's that way of looking. There's so many ways you could sort of look at it differently. I guess like you could say like the big companies like CD Projekt Red or whatever, they have the investors, so they have that pressure, but then there's different kinds of pressures in different ways. Like when it's single pressure on one guy, it's intense, isn't it? So but the good thing about independent development, often you'll see them reaching out and being very open, having a Discord and asking for feedback and all that stuff. So it's very different kind of experience to a AAA game. AAA game, you'll just hear like, it's going to be ready here and this day is like the trailer or whatever, pretty much. But yeah, independent development's open and accessible, which is really cool, I think.
It's true. It is. That's a lot of the problem with them is it's like Fastback agrees with you. He said even big studios with big budgets struggle with scheduling, especially for online multiplayer games that are unpredictable till rollout. He says there's a lot of struggles with games that people they don't think of. It's like when there's a big problem at the minute, has been for the past few years, is if you don't like a game, and not everyone, but there's a lot of people that send some really nasty messages, and they're only humans, aren't they? Like death threats and shit, because they just change the thing in the game, and I don't understand it. I really don't get it.
Yeah, definitely.
And these indie devs get it too, obviously. But I don't know how you can do that to people. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, as we're like when people are indie developers, I think the good thing about the difference between them and AAA is AAA, they usually will set their release date quite far off of release, and then they'll have to kind of stick with it pretty much. They can push it back, but they want to stick with it for the investors and stuff like that. So say they set it a year ahead, they said September 22nd, they stick to that date. With indie developers, they don't announce a date until they're pretty much ready with the game, if not ready, actually ready, and then say we'll be coming out a month from now. That way you get a game which is complete and exactly how it wants to be. Developer's done everything he wants to the game. Obviously, he might be trying to get it done nice and quickly within what he wanted to get it done in, but at the same time, he's able to work and perfect the game to what he wants it to be, essentially, and that way we don't get crap and sort of like a mess of a game that releases for us. So that way, I think it definitely is a big difference.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
can you go on?
Say.
Sorry, go on. No, what I was going to say was that. Can you imagine what the developers go through? Like, say for example, somebody tweets you online, thousands of people talking about how shit you are at your job and stuff like that, and you'd feel down, wouldn't you? Like, what's the point even being in the trade and stuff like that?
You've been talking to my boss. He tells me constantly. No, joking aside, you're right, mate. You are spot on. I couldn't imagine that from thousands of people saying, well, that's shit. What do you think you're doing? It's just, why?
This is, again, going back to what I said earlier about the indie game, the movie, which I highly recommend once again, in that film, actually, you see Super Meat Boy come into fruition and be completed. And it's just one of the best moments in the game when you see the game completed and it's gone out and they're waiting to see these reviews. And they watch a ton of these reviews. Believe me, guys, developers do watch your reviews. Maybe some who just avoid it, but I reckon a lot of them do. Especially what these guys do. And they're not the kind of people who you would usually be there watching reviews, but they're passionate about what they've done. They want to know what the reaction's like, and that part of the film is so inspirational to me. And then seeing Edmund, I forget his surname now, but the guy from Team Meat talking about it, it's just truly a very emotional moment. And seeing that he's so happy that he's inspired people to perhaps get into game development themselves, or the fact that the game's been a success, that people just want to play it. It's like an amazing moment, and I highly recommend checking out that film, as I say, and to see that come to fruition and go out and people celebrate the game. I think it's just amazing. Just watch that film, guys. I highly recommend it.
I'm putting it on my watch list as we're talking now. It's going on. I'm logging in.
Nice.
I'm putting it on my watch list.
Nice, bro. It's if you've got Amazon Prime, then it's free to your Amazon Prime. It's on Steam as well if you did want to get it through Steam. But it's good. It's well worth a watch.
I don't know how to take that. I do know a lot about games. I'm not real good at being talky about it all the time. Till you hit something, I'm talking to Prophet here who keeps talking about how I look. Now it says I look like I know a lot about games.
Cerebral, you can talk. Usually we'd say you could talk for England, but you're not from England, so you probably wouldn't get the same. You can talk for America. I always love hearing what you say, Paul.
Yeah. I do have opinions. They're just not, there are certain topics that'll trigger me and I'll have a lot to say. Other times I'm like, yeah, it's all right. That's the whole thing. It's okay.
Fair enough, buddy. Stubbsy boy's been quiet a little bit today.
No, I
think he's asleep over there.
No, I've been letting people talk and engage. It's been a really good show.
Yep.
We've done a full show of talking about indie goodness.
Yeah. The other issue is, and it's not video game related, but if you see my Twitter, you'll see I'm having trouble getting some money back from a convention that hadn't taken place for a year and a half, and now they're saying, "No, we're going to hold your money and keep your ticket, and we'll be back in 2022." I'm like, bullshit. Give me my money.
Definitely. That's what happened to me with VGX, actually. In the UK.
I may not be alive in 2022. I want my money back.
Facts, my friend. Yeah, it took me ages to get my refund off of VGX after that got cancelled. I had to keep hounding them. It's just ridiculous. Is that a PAX one by any chance, or?
Yeah, it's a worse. It's Comic-Con, which we call CashCon.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because PAX and EGX are run by the same.
Awful, wasn't it?
So I'm hoping that my tweet will pick up some steam and put some pressure on him to go, if it'll get you to shut up, here's your money.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
Hopefully.
So if those of you who are following me, please go retweet my pin tweet.
Yeah, I've already done so, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a good show tonight. It really has. It's been talking about all aspects of future game show, idea Xbox, and even into indie games and how Steam works and various different subjects on indie game. It's been fun. It really has.
It's been all over the place, haven't we? Sorry about that.
But Midweek Gaming, that's how we roll. That's how we roll. But we have, and we also got on to what was it?
Parking.
We got on to parking at the start as well.
Parking simulator. You heard it here first.
Yeah,
parking simulator.
There isn't a topic we can't talk about. Or we'll talk about it.
Exactly. Anyway, thanks for coming on, Indy. I really appreciate you taking your time to come on the show. I know you've been very busy with YouTube projects and everyone in the land inviting you on your show.
But it's an absolute pleasure coming on, my friend. Always is. We speak a lot, and it's good to be actually on the show with you today. And real pleasure to hang with all of you guys. Removal Sanity, we've had you on Indie Games Podcast a couple of times. Always a pleasure, my friend. Great indie fan and fellow supporter of that world. So it's great to be on with you, bro.
Great to have you on, mate. Great to have you on.
Good stuff. Thanks, buddy. And Paul, my friend, I've been wanting to hang out with you for a while, buddy. You're a legend in the community. Animated Evil.
I think this is the first time we've actually been on a show together.
It is indeed, I definitely love your passion and no nonsense approach, brother. You're awesome.
Thank you.
And like I say,
that's what they call it, the no nonsense.
That's what they call it over here.
That's easier than saying, "God, you're an asshole."
You don't take shit. Yeah, definitely. And thank you guys for Animated Evil. You rock, brother. I always love what you do. You bring some great opinions to many shows that I've seen you on now. So I really, really liked your video. I have to say that was fantastic. First video, amazingly edited, brilliant takes on the actual game itself. I thought that was awesome. Definitely want to see more of that, buddy. So great stuff. And Tushi, bro, you are a legend, and it's great hanging with you, Mr. Chilled, and the Community Gaming King, as obviously that's with Animated Evil 2 now. But keep up the great work on that, bro. So sorry about going around everyone. It's like I'm doing some sort of like religious ceremony or something. But thanks again, guys. It's been a pleasure. If you did want to find me on YouTube, you can do so. It's Indie Gamer, all one word. So YouTube.com/The Indie Gamer. And on Twitter, I am at indie_gamer_01. If you wanted to chat some indie games, that's what I do. And the channel is all dedicated to indie game goodness. So it'd be awesome to see you there if I haven't seen you there already. Thanks very much, guys. And it was a pleasure.
Thanks for coming on. We'll have to get you on more often, but obviously, I know scheduling's a bit hard for you, but we'll try and get you on sooner. But it's been a show where you can really speak on the subjects sometimes. Yeah,
I felt like I took over a little bit.
No, it was good. People loved it.
Yeah, well, I hope I didn't sort of take over. Like I know you said you didn't, I didn't, but you know what I mean.
They should have had you running the Idea at Xbox show. Okay,
you're too kind, bro. It's very kind of you. I'm not sure about that though.
Thanks for coming on, Indy.
Thanks again,
Stubbsy. Get rid of this cough, I tell you. It's annoying. I've had it for about 2 weeks now. Right, Mr. Tushi. Thanks for coming on. Thank you.
Hang on, this is emergent. Hang on, this is an emergency. I've had to take that pizza off because it's got fucking pineapple on it. You can find me everywhere as Mr. Tushi on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. That's about it, really. So I'm half asleep at the moment.
Weekends. What do you do on the weekend?
Animated. You can do that bit if you want. Thanks for coming on that Animated Evil.
Thank you very much for having me, as always. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you gentlemen, as always, with you guys and the on Midweek Gaming. Special thank you to our guest today, Indie Gamer. Man, the passion you show for the indie games is just second to none, brother. Much respect. Hats off to you. If I had a hat on, I would doff it to you, sir.
Thank you so
would.
much, buddy.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you bring so much passion to it. It's unrivaled. It really is. So, with that said,
Thank you.
you can find me. I should really practice this. You can find me every week here on Midweek Gaming.
You have to think about what show he's on. You see him going
You can find me on a Tuesday or a Thursday, depends on when I'm on with Four Guys with Quarters. On a Sunday on the Flemish Experience with my friend Cerebral Paul, of course. Although I should have gone that way rather than that way, because on a Friday and Saturday you can find me. And which way am I going? That way. That gentleman over there. With Community Game Night. Yeah, so just check it out on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at animated_evil. All my other details are there.
Thanks for going on, Animated. It was good as always. Thanks for plugging Community Game Night, because Mr. Tushi forgot to do it.
He's tired. He's had a long day.
I did. I'm up in 4 hours as well.
Oh my god.
Cerebral Paul, thanks for coming on. Tell people where they can find you.
Yep. You can find me at Twitter at CerebralPaul1. You can find me at Twitch at CerebralPaul. And you can find me on YouTube. It's just Cerebral Paul. And Xbox at CerebralPaul921. And so there you go. And you can find me on Wednesdays here, on Sundays at the Flemish Experience, which is now basically the Animated Evil and Cerebral Experience. And
It is.
Yeah, I've noticed that you kind of essentially run the show now. Oh dear.
And keep your ears open, because there's some special stuff coming up really soon here that I can't talk about yet. So,
Ooh.
I don't believe you. You have to tell me.
Thanks
there you go.
Yep. Thanks for coming on, Paul. Cerebral Sanity, thanks for coming on as always. Can you tell people where they can find you?
Again, thank you very much for having me on, and it's great to have the indie. I would say the indie, the indie king on. It's always great to have him chat and have him converse with him, sort of thing. You can find me on Twitter, Minds, YouTube, and on here as well as Removal Sanity.
You're too kind. I don't know about Indie King. Burger King, maybe.
I want Kinky Bear
You
to
come
come
with
back.
fries.
We need Kinky Bear.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Removal. It's been a good show yesterday. Yeah, it's definitely been loads of indie games talked about. Various different points on it. Not just on the shows, on indie games in general. Some of the struggles they have. It's been quite interesting. It has.
Oh.
It has. So anyway,
Indeed.
thanks everyone for, especially Indy, for coming on. I appreciate
My pleasure,
it.
bro. Thank you so much again.
And I will see you
Where
all.
can we find you, Stubbs?
Yeah.
Where can we find
Stubbs Gaming?
You can find me on this channel. Please subscribe, and you can find me on Twitter.
OnlyFans?
No.
Please no.
No, definitely not. No. Yeah, so if you want to follow me and subscribe, I'd appreciate that. So, and put the thumbs up, because every bloody week someone puts the thumbs down on Midweek Gaming.
Not this time, by the look of it.
Well,
That's
they haven't.
Hit that like
They do it after normally. But anyway, thanks for coming by, everyone. I'll see you all soon.
Later, guys.
chat. You've
See you
been
guys.
amazing. Thank you.
It's nice.
It's nice.